Back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Rugby Championship. This game is a must-win for the Springboks and the Pumas. It's being played in Argentina in what promises to be a very exciting game of the Rugby Championship. But we have still got about an hour until this game does get underway. We've got a live build-up planned that hopefully you guys will enjoy. But nonetheless, we'll jump straight into it. First of all, looking at the starting lineups and reserves for both of these sides. The Springboks have gone with a pretty similar lineup. The Pumas, they have done a few changes in the starting lineup with Nahul Tita Chaparro at number 1, Julia Montoya at 2, and Eduardo Bello slots in at number 3. Then Matthias Alemano will be there at number 4. Number 5, Thomas Lovanini. Now, I mentioned it in my preview that I did a little bit ago that hasn't actually gone up on the channel, I've just realized, but I mentioned Thomas Lovanini. He's an extremely dangerous player if he keeps that discipline in check. If he does that, could have a very good chance of having a fantastic game. Juan Martin Gonzalez makes his way back into the starting lineup. Unfortunately, in the second match up against New Zealand, he did come off the bench rather than starting. I feel like that was a bit of a mistake. That man has had a huge amount of impact, as you will see when it comes to the try-scoring stats. Just a little bit later on, Marcos Crema at number 7, and then Pablo Matera does slot in at number 8. It was his home away from home in Christchurch. Now back in Argentina, we'll be looking forward to getting out there on the park and having a run around. Gonzalo Berrano will be there at number 9 with Santiago Carreras slotting in at 10. Matthias Orlando at 12. Geronimo De La Fuente at number 13. I actually thought those two were around the other way. Maybe that is a mistake there. Lucio Cinti at number 11. Emiliano Boffelli out on the right wing. He will also have kicking responsibilities for this contest. And Juan Cruz Malia there at number 15. We have got Darren in the chat. It said, hi, Hamish. Hope you're keeping well. This looks like an exciting or an amazing prospect of a game. Certainly right. It seems like this game really books aside a spot in the theoretical final. If you lose this game, you're almost out of the running for the Rugby Championship, depending on how much you lose it by, of course. Bonus points could be massive coming into the end of what has been the closest Rugby Championship competition we have ever seen. Every side still has a chance of winning it, which is why this game is so crucial for both the Boks and Los Pumas. We have got Kevin in the chat. Good afternoon all. Well, this is going to be one hell of a game. Hope rugby is the winner and not the referee, says Kevin. And morning mate says, Sense, I hope you are also doing well. We have covered the game between the Lions and the Bulls a little bit earlier on in the night. It is currently 6 a.m. here in New Zealand. I have no idea how I am still wide awake, but I'm wondering whether or not by the end of this match, maybe the eyelids will start to get a little bit heavier. But speaking of heavy, here's the Springboks. They are a very heavy side in the rugby world, that is for sure. They have got large implications for this match and larger-than-life players out there in the fullback. Stephen Kitsoff at number 1, Malcolm Marks at 2, and Franz Manharba will be there at number 3. So I believe that is the best front row that they could have gone with. I like the combination of Kitsoff and Marks. Normally we see it as a part of the bomb squad. This time we get to see it in the starting lineup. Once again, it is Ebenetsabev and Ludiacha there at number 5. Very, very strong in the duo there. Alemano and also Lavanini, they'll certainly have their hands full trying to shut down Etsabev and Diacha. We will have to wait and see how it goes. And also T7 has said, Hamish, do you ever think you would try out for professional commentating? You're doing an amazing job, says T7. I don't really know, because if it's anything like I've heard of experiences for other YouTubers and whatnot, it seems to be that the mainstream don't want a couple guys or anyone from the YouTube world for some reason. I feel like because they've gone through countless years of studying and all that kind of thing, they don't just want some random who's come from a YouTube channel to then get an opportunity in the commentary box. So maybe somewhere down the line, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. They are normally pretty set in their ways. We have got Y says roll off, and also still an hour till kickoff, says Senza. So yeah, whether or not the eyelids start to get heavier by the end of that time, we will have to wait and see. And Sean has said, how's it, Hamish? From, oh no, you know I messed this up last week. We're going to try it again. Jukenberger. That's even worse than last week. I do apologize, Sean. Yeah, Hamish as a professional, or as a commentator, as a true professional, and would hold his place in any broadcasting channel, says Darren Smith there. But looking through at the rest of the fullback, it will be Sia Khaleesi at number 6, the skipper. He was fired up in the game up against the Wallabies. Now gets another opportunity to go out there and show what form he has got for himself. Franco Mostert at 7, and Jasper Visa slots in at number 8. I do enjoy Jasper Wiese at 8, and I hope he does have a very impressive game. Jaden Hendrickse at number 9. Damian Valimza will be slotting in at 10, recently getting appointed as the main fly half. That is due to Elton Yankees being back in South Africa now, and also alongside that, it is because of the couple other injuries that they've had around there. Andre Pollard, also we have got there, if New Zealand is a fixed game, says a roll-off there. So he is not too happy with the game between between New Zealand and Australia, by the sounds of it. And yeah, there were some shocking decisions in that game. As a Kiwi, I can say New Zealand, they had a few that went their way. They had a few that didn't go their way. They got extremely lucky to get away with the win there. And did you see the news about Springboks and party drugs yesterday? Says Hanoi, I did see a rumor about the Springboks. I don't think we're going to talk about it too much on the live stream, just because until it's actually proven or anything along those lines, it is pretty much just that, a rumor, which we'll have to wait and see what develops in that department. And also we have got there, you can't click, give yourself a break. Says Sean there, and hi, says Yako, hope you are doing very well, mate. And good Sean is here as well with the South African flag. And in the chat, looking through at the rest of the backline, it will be Damien Dialende at number 12, Jesse Krill at 13. That is due to Lucanio arms injury. There, Makazole Mapimpi out on the left wing, Cannon Moody out on the right, and also it will be Willie LaRue at number 15. So it will be interesting to see which Willie LaRue shows up. It's either going to be the sensational Willie LaRue or the shocking Willie LaRue. We will have to see which way it does end up going. I've said seeing many times throughout the early stages, do you think Itzebeth get into any, would get into any team in history? I'll say he's got a pretty decent crack. And then also we have got there inked up his head, the ref was good. Don't milk the clock, more refs should follow suit. I mean, that decision, it was the right one, but there were a lot of other decisions for penalties that he did get very wrong throughout that contest. And I think it went against both sides. I think, yeah, he didn't have a 100% great game. That call of the 30-second one, which I believe is the one that he has mentioned about being rigged, that was by the law book, but some of the other decisions were not so much, I guess you could say. But looking through at the benches, Argentina, it is going to be Augustin Crevi at number 16, number 17, Thomas Gallo, and then number 18, it is Joel Scalavi, then Guido Petti at number 19, only recently returning to his injury, so it is good to see that they are slowly edging him back in rather than rushing him into the starting lineup, where he could end up with a little bit of a re-injury to his previous injured part. Rodrigo Bruni at number 20, Thomas Kubeli at number 21, then it will be Ura Paletta at number 22, Matthias Maroni slots in at number 23 to close out this Argentine side. Then for South Africa, it is Dion Fourie, Oxner Shea, and Trevor Nakanye as the front row. Heinrich Lowe at number 19, Huacha Smith, he did come off the bench in a previous game, getting himself the 2 tries. Faf de Klerk at 21, Andre Esterhazen, Harlequins could have used him in their last match up against the Saracens. He's a dangerous threat in the midfield and should be exciting to see him at international level. And then Francois Steyn, we've seen him at international level quite a bit in the past, about 76 times, huge amount of experience, and we'll be hoping to maybe slot one over from 50 metres out. Etzebeth is pretty good, but as a captain, is he better than Johnson or Earls, says Hanoi. And also we have got there, from an England point of view, Etzebeth is the most respected player of our era. And also your thoughts, please, says Darren. I mean, he's always, I know at the start, a lot of people said that he was a bit of a dirty player. And yes, some of the time, I think it was just they were confusing being dirty and being aggressive, because he's an absolute beast. And when he gets fired up, like you can see it in his eyes, anytime someone is picking on one of his teammates, he's the first one to stick up for them. And I feel like that's why people were like, oh, he likes to get into fights and whatnot. But normally he's just getting in there because one of his teammates is having something happen to them. And Arinsa still missing. Yeah, I want to say he'll miss the rest of the Rugby Championship, but it was a 6-week suspension, or was it 4-week suspension? It's weird because some of them are game suspensions, some of them are week suspensions. So it makes it very hard to work out how long it is and how much sleep do you get per day, bro. I'd say probably anywhere between 8 to 10 hours I do aim for. And I actually do get it a majority of the nights, believe it or not. So if I end up staying up all night here, I'll sleep during the day, wake up probably for 6 hours and then go to bed, get back up at about 7 a.m. and then go to work on Monday. Easy peasy. Just the way that we like it. Etzebeth versus Gallen would be good. Etzebeth would certainly have the reach advantage for that contest, and maybe the aggressive nature, but Gallen just coming off winning a couple of his boxing fights. Who knows? I don't mean, it would be weird to see it, seeing as Sonny Bill Williams is the one that they've been targeting for that battle in the boxing ring, but it's just whether or not it ever actually happens is a whole different story. Looking through at the way that the table sits at this current point in time, New Zealand at the top, they are sitting on 14 points. Australia sitting on 10, and then South Africa and Argentina both sitting on the 9. So if South Africa win this game, theoretically, South Africa can actually get themselves into first place here. They would have to win this game by 30 points, and that would include the bonus point try for themselves. And are you still in the car insurance game? No, that was a joke, that one that I did say about how I'd sell a guy car insurance. I don't actually do car insurance. I do a bit of building. So a bit of a different one. I mean, car insurance would be a lot of fun. All you got to do is just pretty much talk. And I guess that's pretty much all I do on these live streams. But like I mentioned, the Springboks, they have got a chance of being able to get through to number 1 if they do get this game very right up against Los Pumas. Los Pumas, they'd have to work a lot harder to get to number 1, as they would have to win this game by about 60+ points, which up against a side like the Springboks, it's a little bit impossible. I think Alex van der Walt has said who is the ref. I'm just going to have a quick look. I want to confirm that I have got the right referee for this matchup. I did see them announced earlier on in the week, but now my brain's gone blank. So I'm just going to make sure we got the right referee. One moment. I got to scroll up. There it is. Right. Hopefully this will tell me at least the head referee for this one. It is going to be referee in charge. It's not going to tell me. That's nice. I'm sure we'll be able to find it somewhere, though, at some point heading into this match, and Springboks will win. Are they all on drugs, says Johannes. And there says Johannes, although innocent until proven guilty. We don't know that about the box yet. Like I saw someone mention how every time there's a cycle, it's just before the World Cup that it seems to be that the Springboks get accused of something. And it just seems to be, once again, that kind of cycle. And also, who's the ref? Says Alex, I'll try and find it for you, mate, as it wasn't on the app that I normally use. I'll have to go on a different one and see whether or not it will tell me the information that we need. I hope it does. Normally, it's pretty easy to find a referee, but for some reason, they make it hard for certain ones. James Dolman, Kiwi. Sebastian's onto it. How did you find that, Sebastian? Because I've gone to like 3 different websites, and they all don't want to tell me who's in charge. Yeah, no, mine won't tell me. And also, thank you, says Alex. And also, will the French ref get sanctioned from Thursday? Probably not. They don't seem to have much of a process of bad referees losing international games. And I think that's something that they kind of need to work on as well, because of so many different refereeing styles we have seen. Like whether you get an Australian ref, a French ref, South African ref, New Zealand ref, English ref, Welsh ref, every single one of them referees the game just a little bit differently, and in some cases quite drastically differently, which can make it very hard to know what laws are going to be pretty much followed in each of the games. And Vamos Pumas, says Alejandro there, and if the ref says play, says Chaldecock in there as well. So yeah, hopefully this game, it's going to be relatively free-flowing. We know that both sides do favour a bit more of a kicking game than the running, as we will see from some of the stats that I will show you guys. You know what? We'll go into them right now. So looking through at some of the stats, we have seen 19 tries from the All Blacks throughout the Rugby Championship. Now, I should mention that the All Blacks in Australia, they've had the extra game. So, of course, their stats should be a little bit higher. Although you see for clean breaks, South Africa having 24 and 24. Same with New Zealand. That is actually very impressive from South Africa, seeing as New Zealand have had that extra game in hand. Like I did mention, New Zealand having the most carries, Argentina having the least. So to get their hands on the ball a little bit more in this game may be very beneficial for Los Pumas. Then a couple of the other stats that we do look at for this one. The meters carried, New Zealand have had the most. Argentina and South Africa, they are at 3rd and 4th in a lot of these ones, as you can see. Although Argentina, they have the most successful line out of any side, a whole 9% more accurate than South Africa. Although someone who was really dropping that stat for the South Africans would have been Joseph Weber. Now that he is not on the side, does mean that will continue to rise up just a little bit more. But Argentina with that accurate line out, always finding Alemano, and also Lovanini can be a very handy threat for Los Pumas. Definitely if they get that rolling maul going like we have seen in the past. Definitely Rugby Championship 2021. We did get to see it a little bit more prominent in that one. Offloads, we have seen the least amount of offloads out of any side from Argentina. South Africa leading the scrums, and also looking at that, the rucks one, South Africa and Argentina both find themselves with 95% of the rucks one. Also, not that simple, Carl. And there says Hanoi, and also, yes, it is, says Inked Up. Although it is one of those cases of it's always well and good saying it is good with a decision that's been made when it is in favour of your team. So I feel like that is something we've got to consider as well. If it was against New Zealand, I feel like there'd be a whole different attitude from a lot of people. So we've got to make sure that we see it both ways rather than just going, our team got the better of the decision, so we're happy. We love referees. Now looking at another stat, that is going to be the yellow card. Speaking of referees, 7 yellow cards for the Australians throughout this competition. 4 for New Zealand, 4 for South Africa, and then the 2 for Argentina as well. There have been quite a few in this competition. We've seen a couple red cards as well, I believe. Could have been one in the last game between Australia and New Zealand. So discipline is going to be the key word for both of these sides. Handling errors, we've seen a fair margin of them throughout the competition, but if they can avoid some of those handling errors and keep themselves just running rugby, keep it in the game, couple kicks every once in a while just to mix it in, it could be quite an exciting contest. And also, when does the game start? Says Tyler in there. It is currently sitting 6:17 a.m. in New Zealand, so we are about 50 minutes away. And if it's not wasting time or breaking knees, getting your mustache touched and collapsing, sorry, Aussies, says Charles there. And also, players know when they're milking the rules, says Inked Up. And also, we've got their Vamos Pumas, says Hanoi in there as well. But do let me know your score predictions for this contest, ladies and gentlemen. We are still, like I mentioned, about 50 minutes away, so we've got plenty of time to decide on who we think is going to be able to take out this contest. Now, Argentina at home, normally a tough side to beat, whereas South Africa on the road, they have been able to prove it recently that they are certainly capable of getting themselves a win, but normally it is the second game on the road that they are victorious. They don't have that luxury of playing in Argentina twice in a row. They are first game in Argentina, then heading to South Africa next week, where they will be facing up against the Argentines. Once again, that is going to be a 4:05 a.m. kickoff here in New Zealand. Alongside that, New Zealand and Australia, they are going to be playing off for their final game in the Rugby Championship. That's why Aussie has a yellow jersey. They are the Yellow Card Kings. And also, so you're still upset about Nick White. That's old news, says Hanoi. And also we go there at 18:30 to the box and 96-0 in favour of, I know that you mean South Africa, but I could go with a technicality and say, since you did go 96 first, that would be the Pumas winning the game, 96-0 in favour of Los Pumas. And also, it will be close, but South Africa to edge it, go the box, says Roy. I believe my prediction yesterday, and I'm sticking with it currently. I've gone South Africa by 8. I think there's certainly a chance that the Pumas can fire back in this contest. South Africa, they've got a little bit more momentum heading into it, and also with a Rugby Championship first place, maybe just around the corner for the box, they might have just that little bit of extra fire underneath them. And don't underestimate the Pumas, but it's going to be tough and physical. It's going to be close. Block 24, the Pumas 22, and Pumas by 6. Strong at home, says Sebastian. I've been in awe of South Africa for a long time. I would love to watch the Springboks in South Africa, or even go watch England's cricket team on a tour there. I was in Cape Town. My friend was mugged. Is it safe? Says Darren. I think it all depends on, I guess, when you go, what you're doing during that time. And sometimes it's just luck of the draw a little bit, just like all countries, really. My sister's car, she lives in Palmerston North. It was broken into the other day, which was a bit unfortunate. She lives in a relatively quiet neighborhood, so sometimes it's just wrong place, wrong time, really. And the worst thing is, all they would have found is some CDs, because their car still has a CD player. So they would have been pretty disappointed, unless, of course, they do enjoy a little bit of the Backstreet Boys. Then they would have been absolutely loving it. They would have been wanting it that way. Some people won't understand that reference. That's understandable. Just Backstreet Boys, isn't it? But looking through at previous results, it is the 4 matches we have seen from Argentina so far. Their first game at home, they did lose 41 points to 26. That was the game that the Wallabies were able to get themselves the victory. But then that next game, they absolutely went out firing. 31-point margin between them. And that was absolutely brilliantly done by Argentina. I believe their biggest winning margin that they have ever had up against the Pumas. Then looking at their game up against New Zealand, they made history when they were able to get their first ever win on New Zealand soil, 25 points to 18. And then alongside that, their next game, they will want to forget. 50-point margin and that one up against New Zealand. New Zealand were absolutely livid, though, with the fact that they were beaten in the week before. It's going to be a titanic battle between the two Hulks. The game of rugby might break out at some point, says cited, and don't underestimate the Pumas. I know I read that one. Why did the dietitian get sent home if she is innocent? Says Hanoi and Palmerston North is at the headquarters of the mongrel mob. Not too sure overall. And also, where is the Kiwi going, or when is the Kiwi going to coach? Says Gary. And also, Darren, in most part of Cape Town is good neighbourhoods, it's safe, says Abdul. And good morning, Hamish, my man. What's the latest? So at the moment, we are just looking through previous fixtures. And speaking of previous fixtures, here we go. Looking at the Springboks. They have also had their roller coaster of a rugby championship. They did lose, they won their first game up against New Zealand, 26 points to 10. They were then defeated 35 points to 23. Then they were beaten by Australia. I almost said that very weird, but Australia, they were defeated 25 points to 17. And then they came out, got themselves a 16-point win in their last outing. So South Africa coming off a 16-point win, Pumas coming off a 50-point defeat in their last match of the Rugby Championship. So that's why it's so hard to work out who has momentum for this game. You would think 100% it is the Springboks. But the Pumas, they seem to play a lot better at home. They've got a few other players linking back up with the side. Geronimo de la Fuente is one that comes to mind straight away. Juan Matan Gonzalez back in the starting lineup. Going to be going head-to-head with Sia Khaleesi. And then also, they have great tackling stats, as we're about to see in this little thing. No, that's meters carried. There we go. We will go to, no, that's tries. Here we go. This is the one we're after. Tackles 1. As you can see, there's quite a few Pumas on that list. Marcos Crema, Julian Montoya, Thomas Lovanini, also on there, Pablo Matera, and then Thomas Gallo sneaks his way in there, although he is not going to be playing in this game. Sia Khaleesi, the only Springbok on this list, which is relatively surprising. But I guess with the Springboks, because they've had a little bit more of the position in a majority of their games, perhaps that is why they haven't had to make so many tackles. They're also very good at sharing the load when they do have to make those tackles. In defence, looking through at that list that I showed just before, the try scorers, Samasoni Takiaho, the top of the list, sitting on 4. Juan Matan Gonzalez on 3. Another man who is on 2, though, is Huacha Smith down the bottom there. He scored both of those tries in a very short span of time. Wanting to see the Springboks run free, says Faylene, and good evening from Cape Town, says Zach Evans. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Come on the box. Get that bonus point, says Rugby Itch, and also the Argentinian flags from Pablo. And then, do you think Esterhuizen will make the World Cup team? He only plays one position, number 12. I think it completely depends on what Damien de Allende's up to. If Damien de Allende is injured, they may have to look for another 12 option, and it's either, at the moment, I would say Andre Esterhuizen. He's got a good chance of being that 12. Another player who's playing very well at the moment, Marius Lowe. He's not in the squad, but perhaps by the World Cup might get himself the call-up. There's actually quite a few talented inside centres who don't really get too much of a crack because of what they've got in Damien de Allende, and that is an extremely solid player. Getting my popcorn ready for the match, says Cited. And then we'll make sure that you don't burn it. That's the worst thing ever, when you think that you're going to have a beautifully cooked bowl of popcorn and you just absolutely fry it, and then it's almost beyond savable at times, unfortunately. This is another stat list that we've got. The meters carried at the moment. Caleb Clark, he is sitting at the top of the bunch with 473 meters carried. The reason I show that is because Makazole Mavimpi, he is there in 7th. Now, depending on how many meters he gets in this game, he could theoretically pass almost everyone here, unless, well, he would need 200 and plenty of meters to be able to get above Caleb Clark, but I think he could slowly, he could get above Savia, get above Will Jordan, above Valentini. Geordie Barrett's a bit of a question mark, whether or not he can have 80 meters carried in this game, Makazole Mavimpi, but if he does, he's up a little bit further. 2 red cards and 4 yellows tonight. The thing is, it's not completely out of the question. I did show that one a little bit earlier on, showing the stats when it comes to the discipline of the sides. Australia, 7 yellow cards. New Zealand, 4 yellow cards. South Africa on 4 as well. And then Argentina just sitting on the 2. That's probably one of the most surprising stats is Argentina, they have only been penalised to the point of a yellow card twice throughout their Rugby Championship so far. Normally, they are a side that their discipline lets them down. And I believe it's not the sole reason, but it's certainly one of those reasons why Argentina have been so successful throughout this year's Rugby Championship. They are giving away less penalties, less cynical penalties that give the opposition a really good chance of being able to counter-attack and have a man advantage. And because of it, Argentina, they're reaping the rewards. They are sitting well and truly close in this. If they win this game up against the Springboks, they will be sitting in second place heading into the final round. And then from there is a very good chance that we could see them finishing above of the bottom two. If you can't beat the Springboks, join them, says Aussie there. And also three cards, including the rest MasterCard. And also, I think we must run the ball, go for the tries, says There's the Roo. Now, I have a question for everyone. I was told previously that it was for this year's Rugby Championship, they are doing the points differential side of things rather than points differential. It is based off how many tries you have been able to score. Now, I did hear that from, I believe it was Johan, the rugby guru, who told me that. But is that correct? Do let me know. Because if it is, I said it at the time, I said that kind of disadvantages the Springboks because they're not a side that are known for scoring a ton of tries, but they do win games. And that is the most important part, really. But if they've made that rule so that they have to score more tries, it does make it very tricky as well. I want to see a brutal battle, says Dr. Weekrist. And also we have got their ref bias towards Argentina, says Spider-Man. No, they've actually, I believe, if I'm not wrong, I'm actually going to have a quick look. I think they're one of the most penalised teams in the competition at this point in time when we look through at the stats. Just going to have a quick click. So New Zealand, penalties so far for the seasonal stats. New Zealand have been penalised. We're going to have to remember these all in our brains. Penalties conceded. New Zealand have conceded 62 penalties and given away 4 yellow cards. Australia, they have been penalised a total of 69 times, 7 yellow cards. Then for South Africa, they have been penalised 36 times, 4 yellow cards, 1 red card. So actually very good discipline, you'd have to say, from the Springboks. And then Argentina, at this point in time, they have been penalised 47 times with 2 yellow cards. So they have actually had a lot more penalties than than South Africa. Just where they are on the field has determined the outcome of those ones as well. And also we've got Argentina will always be my second team. So if they beat us, I won't be mad. Says not your everyday cultist. And also we have got if the current best Southern Hemisphere players played the best Northern Hemisphere players, who will win and by what score, says Darren. There are a lot of factors that determine that game. Where it's being played, if everyone's available from injury, how many players from each of the sides do they have to have, if they do have to have a little bit of a split in that regard. And, it would be close. I think it would be a very entertaining contest. One day, maybe we get to see it. Until then, though, we just have to wait until we do get to see it take place. Same with the Club World Cup. I know that is another one that a lot of people do want to see soon, but we are just continuing to wait for it. And also, I hope the ref doesn't interfere too much today. And also, most of our wins came by the boot, says Cited. And that's the thing. They shouldn't be punished for taking threes. Theoretically, you're out there to win a game of rugby. If you can win a game of rugby by taking 3-pointers, do it. At the end of the day, results on the board, I feel like, mean a lot more than trying to score a whole heap of tries. And in some of the process of trying to score so many tries, you can end up giving yourself maybe the chance of being counter-attacked by the opposition. Esther Hazen has been uplifting for the Quins, a different class of an athlete, methinks, to bring that to the box would be a change. And I might score under the post for once. Cheers, says Eric. And there as well. And also, it's a shame we spend half the time talking about the refs in the sport, says Charles DeCock. And unfortunately, it is one of those ones that currently there has been a lot of chatter about what everyone thinks about the refereeing and all of these Rugby Championship games and all of the Six Nations and all of the Gallagher Premiership. It's always based on the referee. And I always look at it this way. It's all well and good blaming the referee if a couple decisions went against you. But then if you've got about 10 to 15 handling errors throughout the game as well, the referee didn't make you drop the ball that many times. He didn't blow the whistle right when you're about to catch it so that you fumbled it. If you had 0 handling errors and from there you were able to then have a few decisions against you, I would understand a bit more. But if you're still handling errors, making silly decisions in the breakdown, getting yourself penalised for clear infringements, then it is always, there are other factors in a game of rugby. You got 80 minutes at the end of the game. If there was no bonus points, would England in the box have more trophies? Says Hanoi there. So I assume you are talking about for the Rugby World Cup, Hanoi? Or in general for competitions around the world. And also 5 games, someone going to jail, says Roloff. And there as well. But anyone who hasn't seen the starting lineups, I should show them once again for Argentina, the home side. In this contest, there will be Nahul Tita Chaparro, Julia Montoya, and Eduardo Bello as the front row. Matias Alemano at 4, and Thomas Lovanini at number 5. Then from there, Juan Matan Gonzalez at number 6, Marcos Kremer at 7, and Pablo Matera there at number 8. Then Gonzalo Burrano is there at number 9, Santiago Carreras with Matias Orlando and Geronimo de la Fuente there in the midfield. Lucio Cinti out on one wing, Emiliano Boffelli out on the other, and Juan Cruz Malia is there at fullback. Then looking through at the South Africans, it is going to be Stephen Kitsoff, Malcolm Marks, and Franz Malharba in the front row. Eben Etzebeth and Ludiacha there as the locks. Sia Khaleesi, Franco Mostert, and Jesper Wiese. Nice combination. Linking up there for the box, Jaden Hendrickse gets a start at number 9. We did see Jordan Hendrickse in action just a little bit ago up against the Lions, for the Lions. And Damian Valimza, Damian Dialenda, the two Damians right next to each other. Jesse Creel, Cannon Moody, after an impressive debut last week, now gets himself another opportunity at international level. Makazole Mapimpi, and then the experienced veteran Willie LaRue. In some sport, 1 point is crucial. You don't have to win by 50, says Spider-Meek. And also we have got there, what's the weather conditions for this match? From what I saw in the little cinematic that they had before, it looks like some pretty nice conditions. It looks like there's not a lot of problems at all in terms of the rain factor, maybe a little bit of wind. We haven't really had that stat shown to us yet, but as soon as I know, I will let you guys know as well. What do you think the score will be? I did go South Africa by 8 in my prediction. So I think we're going to be looking at somewhere around a 32 points to 24, somewhere around there. And I'm back. Hamish says, Matthew, welcome in. If Japan joined the Rugby Championship, what format would you prefer the tournament take? Play every team twice or just once? Says Gregory. It depends. If they also add Fiji, we may only see everyone be able to play sides once and then maybe the top 2 play off for the final. Something along those lines. But it's a tricky one because I'd love to see them play each other twice, but I don't know whether or not they've got enough time in the international window to be able to do so, which is the one thing to think about as well. As this is a stream for the game, unfortunately, we're unable to show match footage or audio for this one. That is due to licensing, but we will be doing the live commentary on the channel. The Pumas might lose now, and Etzebeth has been practicing the death stare on his wife all week, says Dr. Weekris. Yeah, he's got he just opens the eyes up big time, doesn't he? And also, we have got there in the chat, did the ABs get the bonus point versus Australia? They did not in the end. So they actually only got themselves up to the 14 points. Australia on 10, and then the Springboks and the Pumas both sitting on the 9. Is Pollard injured? He is. I believe he's still going to be out for a little bit longer. And can you tell us when did we win with more than 40 points? Remember, the ball is faster than the man swing the ball. South Africa says it was Thesaru. It's a good question. I can't remember the last time we have seen, because, I mean, that game up against Wales, they had a decent differential. Game up against Australia, decent differential, but it was only around that 15 to 20 mark. I don't think we've seen South Africa over the last maybe 15 to 20 results really just absolutely demolish an opposition. They've had wins, though, and that is something I was talking about before. Wins are important, and sometimes just as important as winning by a lot. So South Africa, I'm going to look through their Welsh tour. They were able to win by 16 points in one of those matches. 2021, they won 40 points to 9 up against Georgia. I think by the looks of it, that is their last big win. So that was the first game back for Georgia from international level, and same with South Africa. So that is the biggest winning margin that they have had at this point in time. And also, hey, Hamish, when this will start? It is going to be starting in 35 minutes time, so not too far off now. Nice to see you with the suit off, says Angela. Yeah, I decided at this point in time, it is a big match, but it is also 6:30 a.m., so I thought might as well be a little bit more casual for this one. And what time does the match start in South Africa, says Vision? So it is going to be a 9:10 p.m. kickoff in South Africa. And also, Hamish, when are you coming to South Africa? I'd love to go at some stage, but I don't know whether or not the bank balance is sitting in a place where I can go to South Africa at the moment. I would have to do a lot more hours of work, and that is for sure. And is there a chance for Argentina to take the top spot again if they won today? Unfortunately, not to be able to take the top spot. They can take second, though. And the reason behind that is because Argentina would have to beat the Springboks by 60 points or more to be able to take that top spot, which would be, I mean, I'd like to say any team to beat the Springboks by 60 points would be impossible, but it's a game of rugby, you know. You never quite know. I know that they aren't losing by 60 here, though. They could lose by 5. They could lose by 10. They could win by 20. They could win by 30. That's the beauty of this game. You never know what's going to happen until the final whistle. The past 30 years, it has been the most physical player, says Darren. 30 years. That's a lot of time to go through for a singular player. And also, we have got there in the chat a little bit earlier on, I did miss a couple of the messages. Do you reckon the Springboks win today? My prediction was the Springboks to win it by 10. No, it wasn't. It was the Springboks to win it by 8. And also South Africa as strong, says HS. Now they are just showing the South Africans. They were making their way off the bus. Says that it's still an hour away, but I believe that is wrong. I think the game is a little bit closer than an hour. Oh, yeah, no, that was actually the time that the sides were arriving. Never mind. So don't worry about that statement. It is still going to be in about 40 minutes' time that the game does end up kicking off. And South Africa is strong, says HS. They certainly are. They're one of those sides that if they can get themselves a big win here, they are certainly still in the running for the Rugby Championship, having their next game in South Africa, a huge advantage for the Springboks to be able to maybe close at home on the road, although Eden Park is known as the All Blacks Fortress, and they are going to have their last game up against Australia at Eden Park in Auckland as well. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. As you can see, the Rugby Championship, it is closer than it has ever been before. Whoever wins this game moves into second and maybe even first if South Africa can win this game by, they will need to win it by 30 points, and they'll have to have the bonus point on the board as well for the match. And also Bucky us both a very good shout. And then I reckon 28-24 to the Springboks, and I hear a bird noise, says Zach in there. I assume that is in my background. To be fair, it is currently 7 a.m. here in New Zealand, so the birds will be chirping, getting ready to start their day. My day will be ending in about 3 hours or so when we do end up going to bed after staying up all night, but it's going to be a very exciting match between these two sides. It's a bit unfortunate. I did actually have a whole video made up of the head-to-head battles, looking through at the differences in the numbers in terms of their height, their weight, the caps that they've had. And unfortunately, it's still actually exporting. It's taken over 3.5 hours to fully export. It's got about 10 minutes left on exporting, and then by then, we might be a little bit too close to the kickoff. So we may get to see a few of those head-to-heads, possibly. And Darren Smith, most physical, Andrew Murdens, says Anoy and McCormack, says Zach Evans and Eben, says Ian there. And also, what's for breakfast, says Grace. At this stage, not really sure. I mean, I could have, the world's my oyster, really. I think I've got, bacon and eggs would be a decent choice, but I don't know whether it's considered breakfast if you've been up for 19 hours when you have it. Yeah, is that just a very late, dinner? I'm not sure. It's 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. in Zimbabwe, and I'm excited, says Matthew. Yeah, it is getting close to the contest getting underway. It's going to be an epic one. I don't think the Boks stand a very good chance at winning the Rugby Championship. If only we got a bonus point, we would stand a very good chance. Although, first step for the Springboks is get a win, because from there, they actually still have a very good chance of winning. You think about it in terms of the long game. I'm going to show the table once again so that I make a little bit more sense here. So, South Africa, let's say theoretically they win this game by 15 points. That moves their points differential to 27. Then the All Blacks, they win their game up against Australia. They don't receive the bonus point, though, in the future, theoretically. And that would move them up to 18 points. The Springboks, they'll be sitting on 14, or actually 13, sorry. They win that game in South Africa with a bonus point, win it by 20 points. They win the Rugby Championship. So as long as the Springboks get themselves a win and cut down some of that points differential, they are still well and truly in with a shot of being able to take out the Rugby Championship. A win for Argentina here, though, would probably take South Africa out of the running unless Australia can get themselves that upset win up against the Kiwis at Eden Park. That would be the one that they do need to be able to really throw a spanner in the works once again for the Rugby Championship, which wouldn't surprise me because this championship has been anything but a certainty for the top sides. We thought South Africa and the All Blacks were going to be possibly clear of everyone else. The Pumas, I don't think anyone expected them to go from getting 0 points for the past 2 times that the Rugby Championship has taken place to now getting themselves up there and getting a very good 9 points on the board. I also listened to 2 Cents Rugby for the loudest bird song. And also we have got there, if they win, they are in second, says Matthew. They certainly are. And the best goal kicker for South Africa back in the days, Nash Botha, if I pronounce it right, says Spider Mech. Although Mornay Stain, he's still nailing them in the URC, I did see. URC, I did see. That's kind of a fun sentence to say, isn't it? I'm going to drink some water before my voice disappears. Okay, they are actually talking about Dwayne Vermeulen at the moment, the South African commentators, talking about whether or not he has still got a spot in that Springboks lineup. I think looking at what happened, that Australia can beat New Zealand, they're obviously real pissed off right now, says JP. Exactly right. Australia will be fuming, which is why heading into Eden Park, I feel like I'm not sure what the odds are going to be, but I wouldn't have them 100% in favour of New Zealand, the way that I know that the TAB and whatnot will have it, because Australia have a good chance of going out there. Like, people thought that their makeshift team that they put out there before the match took place was going to be an easy beat for the Kiwis, and it just wasn't. They were able to keep it close. My prediction was New Zealand by 7. New Zealand by 2 in the end was even closer than that. And also, why don't they play Kurtley Arinsur? He is still suspended at this stage. And also, Hamish, what's the highest audience you've achieved today? I believe we had 4,000 in attendance for All Blacks versus Springboks last year. I believe that is our peak that we have had on the channel. And Wallabies will be extra fired up for that final game, says Cited. And I will be your Durban correspondent as I'm going to watch the game, or the Box game, or final game at Kings Park. And I'm sure it's going to be epic. I hope we stand a chance to win in the Rugby Championship so I can see the trophy. Says not your everyday cultist. Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it, when you think about it? Because do they have 2 Rugby Championship trophies? Because theoretically, they'd have one in New Zealand, just in case New Zealand win their game up against Australia. But if New Zealand lose their game to Australia, then do they have to somehow fly it over to South Africa? Which wouldn't work, because South Africa's game is only... How long's a flight from New Zealand to South Africa? Because it would be longer than about 7.5 hours, which is about the difference between the start of New Zealand's game and the start of South Africa's game. Or sorry, the end of New Zealand's and the start of South Africa. If you like commenting the All Blacks, it is fun as well. I think people never quite understand how I can stay impartial during an All Blacks match, but I just love watching both of the sides play some terrific rugby. And we got to see that for Australia versus New Zealand. As controversial as some of it was still an absolutely awesome game to see the head-to-head. And that one in W says roll off. And also Wallabies will be extra fired up for that final game, says Cited. And hello, everyone. We Los Pumas. Daniel Zarapazo. Hopefully I said that correctly. And there as well. I try and speak a little bit of Spanish in one of my intros, but I only really know Bienvenido de nuevo al canal Kiwi lads. It's about all I've got. Hamish, you're onto something. There must be more than one trophy, says not your everyday cultist. And hi again, Hamish, says Lynn. Or even maybe a part-time trophy, just in case. It's gonna be really weird to see what happens, because surely you can't have a trophy celebration in South Africa. If South Africa win, that is. Surely you can't have a celebration without a trophy. They'll just be lifting up their hands going, yay. And also Fawaz has said, does he read chat? Sometimes a bit too much, Fawaz. I sometimes get very distracted by the chat and forget that there's a game of rugby on. Hope you are doing well. Do let me know your score prediction in this one. In 7s, the ref stopped the clock. Why do the same in 15? Here's Spider-Meek. Aussie hard done by, says Spider-Meek. And also we have got hi again. Hamish says, Lynn, hope you are doing very well indeed. Currently only sitting 25 minutes away from the kickoff of this matchup. New Zealand, they have been able to get themselves the win in Australia. South Africa, they want to do the same thing, getting the win. And Argentina, hello from Ireland. Glad to be here. Any update on those tits making an appearance? Says Clinton. Are you the fella from... This was some time ago, Flinton. Or Finton, sorry. Is that... This is like a throwback of a few months ago, if I'm not wrong, isn't it? And also, they'll get over it, says Lynn. And are you going to stream the game? Sadly, we are unable to show any match footage or audio that is due to licensing, but I can recommend a few different sources. If you have got a VPN, I do recommend checking out Stan Sport. They have got the 7-day free trial where you can watch this game. If you do need a VPN to be able to watch the contest, the thing is as well, if you sign up for a VPN today, and also for Stan Sport's free trial today, you will also get New Zealand versus Australia and Argentina versus South Africa next week. All of those games. So you get 3 games for the price of 0, as long as you've got a VPN. If you don't, be sure to check out that pinned comment. We have got our link where you can get a cheap VPN. You get 3 extra months free. Gives you a bit of extra security. And also alongside that, you can watch any Netflix all around the world. If you want to watch something in German, set yourself to Germany, and then you can watch it. I was going to say some German, but then I realized that Guten Tag is not German. And I also go Bock, says it is a net, and I am, yep, says Finton. And can't wait for the autumn internationals. What teams will dominate, do you think? I think France are going to be a hard side to beat. Ireland, I would like to see them follow up an Irish tour of New Zealand with another couple big wins heading into the World Cup. I suppose the trophy problem wouldn't have been so complicated in the past, as this is the closest rugby championship ever. Says it not yet every day, Colton. Good evening, everyone. Los Pumas have a good chance. Hamish says, Matthew, they certainly do. And also, what about the Nelson Mandela? Where do we play for that? There is one. So the Nelson Mandela Cup. Oh, that is up against... Is that up against New Zealand or up against Australia? It might be up against Australia that the Nelson Mandela Plate is played for. And I believe it was a drawn series, which means they base it off last year, which means that Australia get to retain it, if I am right in that regard. Which it could be wrong. I often am. Which is why I got you guys here, to be able to correct me every time I do slip up. But looking through at the matches that we have seen from the Springboks, it's been a bit of a roller coaster. It's going to go from win to loss to win. So a little bit of a weird stroke of luck there for the Springboks, having ups and downs all over the place. But then Argentina, they are the exact same. They have had a similar pattern, although they went loss, win, win, loss by 50, which was not the score that they would have been after for their last contest. But at the end of the day, everyone is still in the running, which is why this Rugby Championship, like we keep on mentioning, it is closer than it's ever been. Mandela Plate is against Australia in the championship. Go either way, says Spider-Meek. Yeah, from here, theoretically, every single side can still win this Rugby Championship. I can't predict this one. My head backs the world champions. My heart longs for Los Pumas, the crowd effect, says Eric. And also, All Blacks did good, says Tamahe. They were very lucky, the All Blacks, to be able to get that win over the Australians. It was extremely close. Could have gone either way. Little moments in the game. Both sides would have had regrets out there on the park. And now they head into their next game at Eden Park, trying to make the absolute most of the situation. But yeah, it was a weird game. I said that from the get-go. It just felt strange because, first of all, it was on a Thursday. And I don't think many people realized it was on the Thursday. But then more people knew about it after the game because of the circumstances of the game, if that statement makes any sense whatsoever. But another one that we have got before we get into the match, it is some stats for you, ladies and gentlemen. So Makazole Mapimpi, I mentioned him before, 257 running meters. Now I'm going to be keeping a close eye on that man, because every time he has a run, he's going to slowly keep on climbing a little bit further up the ladder. In fact, what we're going to do is we are going to get this drawing board that I wish I could find the pen for, but it is nowhere to be seen. I've got a whole heap of boxes with headphones in them. So Makazole Mapimpi sitting on 257. The next one up is 275. Then from there, it's 288 and then 299. And if he has an absolute screamer, 325. We're going to keep an eye on Makazole Mapimpi's running meters, see if he can keep on climbing up that chain. I think South Africa will win the Rugby Championship, says Keenan, and Freedom Cup is against New Zealand and South Africa. And also we have got there, I can't predict this one. Oh no, I read that one and I was scared, says Tamahe. And also we have got All Blacks did do good, says Lynn. And does he stream the real game, says Ishmael? We do not. Sadly, due to licensing, we are unable to show any match footage or audio throughout these live streams. And also we have got there, the problem with South Africa is that they're unpredictable. They could win this, they could lose, says Lynn. And also we have got there, can we have a rugger broadcaster? So your best bet, like I mentioned, is Stan Sport. If you are in Australia, it works out very perfectly for you because you can pretty much just hook yourself up to your normal Stan Sport account, get yourself your free trial, and then watch all 3 of the remaining Rugby Championship games. If you're outside of Australia, I do recommend that VPN link because you can sign up for one. It's got a risk-free trial. So at the end of the day, if you don't like it, you are able to switch around. Cheers for this, bro. Got a prediction. I did go South Africa by 8 in my first initial prediction, but it's very tricky to say what way it's going to go. When does it start, says Pierre? It is 15 minutes away from getting underway, and the breakdown was ref completely both differently in both ABs games. Boffelli, says Eric Davison, and there as well. And please say your take on the last-minute call of the French ref against Australia, says Loreno. So that one's a tricky one. First of all, they probably shouldn't have done it as a two-parter because it did take about 18 seconds. Then they stopped the clock. Then they turned it back on, and then it was another 14 seconds. So theoretically, by the law book, that is the rule, that you do need to take it within 30 seconds. But it was a very tough call at the end of a contest. But theoretically, by the law book, there were other decisions earlier on in the contest, though, that I feel were not that good. And Pablo Matera playing for the Pumas. He certainly is. He will be there at number 8 and also sitting 6th on the leading tacklers. Aussie were robbed. That call is never, ever made, says Bradley. Although I did a little bit more research in it because I had to find out what had happened pretty much. And I did see that in the top 14, it actually is a little bit more common for a player to get either timed out from trying to take a kick or timed out for taking too long in general play. So because the referee was French, that's actually kind of second nature for him to do what they do in the top 14. So that could be a little bit of the reasoning behind it. If it was a South African referee, I don't think we would have seen it in that same situation. But because it was from the French top 14 where they do kind of, I guess, police that rule a bit more, that is where the ruling came from. And Stay, though, is commentating as fire, says Lynn. And also you need to use a VPN to watch the game. And also we have got there in the chat, would you please give us a notification on how the anthems are going? I just need to know how many supporters there are. Pretty please, said Bianca. So I will try my best to let you know how many people are in attendance for this contest. I have just seen that my video that I was hoping to have playing about 20 minutes ago has just finished exporting. But it's probably a little bit too little too late to be able to put it up. It was pretty much a head-to-head breakdown of all the players out there on the park. But I think that one might have to wait for another day. And when are we getting another Kiwi Lad and Mama stream? We actually did 2 today. 2 Bunnings ZBC matches with myself and Mum. We did the Ram Philly Shield game. And then also alongside that, we did end up doing the match between Tasman and Auckland, which was a fun one. And anyone have anything to say about these 2 teams, please say your piece, says Spider-Mick. And also we have got there, so you say it was the right call, says Reno. By the law book, it is written that you aren't allowed to take 30 seconds. The way that they had it set up, though, he should have turned the time off a lot earlier than he did. So it was just that bit of miscommunication between the referee and Bernard Foley. But, it easily could have been either way. Well, isn't it the case that you should never give the ref the option to ping you for time wasting? In fairness, he did warn him repeatedly. And, yeah, the fact that his teammates as well, Andrew Callaway, Lalakai Fekete, they were all yelling at him to kick it. They knew that the time was almost up, but he still wouldn't. And did you watch Wellington versus Hawke's Bay? We streamed Wellington versus Hawke's Bay. Why did the TMO not have a say? And a penalty, says Thestheru. And there as well, I believe it's because it was just a free kick rather than a penalty for that one. And also we have got there, are you able to run through the Bok lineup? We certainly can, so we will start. Even though the Pumas are the home side, we'll go with the Boks first. I think we have got a majority of people watching are Springbok supporters. So looking through at the starting lineup, Stephen Kitsoff at number 1 gets the start at loose here prop. Normally comes off the bench as a part of the bomb squad instead, though for this one does get himself the start. Malcolm Marx at 2 and Frans Malherbe there at number 3. So Malcolm Marx, there's a likeliness that we may see him play for 70 minutes in this contest. They've got Dion Fourie off the bench, but it seems like it will be Malcolm Marx who's out there for a majority of this contest. Eben Etzebeth at 4 and Lou Diacha at number 5. Then Sia Khaleesi at 6. Franco Moster and Jasper Wiese will be there at number 8. Then Jaden Hendrickse slots in at number 9. Damian Willemse gets the start at 10 after the injury of Andre Pollard, and also the off-field business of Elton Yankees means Damian Willemse gets another opportunity. He was very close to getting man of the match for the last contest up against Australia, as he did play very well indeed. Damien Dialende at 12, Jesse Creel at number 13, and Makazole Mapimpi out on the left wing. Number 14, it is Canon Moody, and then at number 15, it is Willie LaRue. So that is the starting lineup for the South Africans. Then from there, we look at Argentina. Will be Nahul Tita Chaparro, Julio Montoya, and also Eduardo Bello, who is there at tie head prop. Alemano and also Lovanini will be the locks. And then Juan Matan Gonzalez back in the starting lineup. I am glad to see him there. Marcos Crema, the fiery number 7, and Pablo Matera and number 8 after a very good campaign for the Crusaders. He has done very nicely transitioning back into the Argentine kit. Gonzalo Berrano there at 9. Santiago Carreras with Matias Orlando and Geronimo de la Fuente. There in the midfield, Lucio Cinti, Emiliano Boffelli, and then Juan Cruz Malia is there at number 15. So those are the lineups that they have gone with. South Africa completely unchanged from what they had last week. On the bench, they've got a couple changes. That is with Andre Esterhuizen making his way in there, and then also Marius Lowe does get himself another chance. That Frans Malherbe must have the biggest belly in the professional era, says Live Starts. Although, in the head-to-head, because I had to look through multiple sources to find Argentina, they actually said that Thomas Lovanini weighs more than Frans Malherbe. So who knows? Maybe, it might just be for show for Frans Malherbe. And have you made your prediction? I have indeed. I did go with Springboks by 8 in this one. And where can I watch this for free? If you are in Australia, Aaron, you can watch it on Stan Sport. You will need your credit card to sign up, but then you can cancel within the free trial period of 7 days. If you don't have that, be sure to check out that VPN link that we have got there. You will be able to go through there, get yourself the VPN, set yourself to Australia, and then sign up for that Stan Sport trial. And please no card for Lovanini today, says username. And yeah, in my preview, I did say if he gets it right, Lovanini doesn't get penalised or doesn't get carded, he could be extremely dangerous. And what's the weather like in Aotearoa, says Bradley at the moment? It's very overcast for ourselves, but it's not too bad. It might actually be a nice day here. It's mostly clear and 3 degrees Celsius as we currently sit. And only 8, says Reno. Oh, what an underestimate Argentina at home. They could be absolutely firing. Then saying that, maybe 8 is an understatement, depending on what Argentine side does end up turning up. And also we have got there, hi Amish, thanks for the great commentary. Whereas Umbonambi injured and Mostert should be playing at flanker. He is or shouldn't be playing at flanker. He's a lock, but otherwise great lineup. So Umbonambi, he was injured. He has now traveled back to South Africa to join up with the squad. And then he'll be flying back to South Africa with the squad to then play. And the next one, who is the ref and what's his nationality, says Finton. It is a Kiwi ref. It is going to be James Dolman. So I feel like if he's bad at his job here for this game, I'm probably going to get a lot of shade for it, seeing as I am from the same country as him. So I just hope he does a good job, because or else it's not going to be pretty, I wouldn't think. But these are the benches for the two sides. Augustin Crevi there at number 16. Thomas Gallo at number 17, the man who was able to get himself 2 tries in one of his early stages of the Rugby Championship. And Joel Scalavi will be there at number 18. Guido Petty at 19. Rodrigo Bruni at number 20. Thomas Cupelli, Uria Pleta, and also Matthias Maroni as the last man coming off the bench. Now, Matthias Moroni, he actually did get himself the start in New Zealand. Now that Geronimo de la Fuente is back, it does mean that he is going to be coming off the bench. We have got Dion Fourie at number 16. Oxnechat and Prevna Kanye will make up the rest of the front row. Heinrich Lowe back into the Springboks. We'll be excited to see what he can do for the amount of time that he gets. Quagga Smith, Faf de Klerk, Andre Esterhuizen added in for this matchup. And then also it is Francois Steyn at number 23. Where is did I miss his name? He is actually injured as well. So him, Pollard, and also there was another player who got injured on that exact same week. But yeah, it was at least Pollard and also Lucanio both getting injured. Pollard will be back a little bit earlier than Lucanio though. He is going to be out for the rest of the season. What's your take on the Australia versus New Zealand game? Dan, what a finish says. So Lossi, it was a very close game, well contested between the two sides. I think both sides had their moments to be able to win it. New Zealand, they did probably get quite lucky with being able to win it with how much pressure Australia were able to put on them throughout the match. Argentina is the only South American country where rugby is a bit popular, says Live Starts. And also we have got there, who do we support? Or how do we support you, bro? Says Bradley there. So I guess depending on, that's a good question. I don't normally get asked that, to be honest. You've thrown me off. I think, well, we got our channel membership. We got the donation on the channel. We also have a PayPal link that I have never put on the chat. But I guess if that's something you guys want to do, it's hugely appreciated. Like I mentioned, I never really get asked that, so I'm thrown off. I'm a bit caught off guard for that one. And also, that's True Spider says Finton, but they are just showing the starting lineup for the Boks. 104 cats for Eben Etzebev, an extremely experienced individual. We are only 8 minutes away, ladies and gentlemen, from this match getting underway. It's going to be a massive one. Both of these sides, they need this win to keep their rugby championship dreams alive. Hamish, have you been to South Africa? I have not, but it is a place that is high up on my list of places that I want to go. Nicholas has said, is this channel going to stream the match? Sadly, due to licensing, we're unable to show match footage or audio, so I do apologize for that. But the highlights will be up on the Super Rugby YouTube channel pretty much straight after the game. Also, if you do want a way of watching this game live, if you are in Australia, you can check it out on the Stan Sport free trial. If not, we have got the VPN that could help you out there. And he won't only commentating. And also, we have got there Matthew, keep trying with your question. One moment, I'll go back up. Did I miss one? Where's Matthews? Matthews. There it is. Do you remember when the All Blacks beat the Pumas by 53-3? I do. It was only a couple of weeks ago that it did take place. And also, I think this Coco was busy preaching. And then because of that hand symbol is a thing that normally is a religious symbol, says JP. And visit Cape Town Stadium, says Rob. I would love to. I feel like my goal is to go to Cape Town, watch a game of rugby there, and then also alongside that, join in on a random braai. Or maybe not a random one. I should know the people first before I go to their braai, but that would be pretty awesome. Because I've heard some good things about the way that South Africans are able to cook a nice barbecue. And also, hello, says Jab, welcome in. I saw the Boks by 10. Says not your everyday cultist, and I says Andy. And now watching the game now soon, but always enjoy tuning into you. Hamish brother says Reno, do appreciate that a lot, mate. Now the two sides just about to make their way out onto the turf. Now it's actually a little bit of a different turf than what they were initially scheduled for. They were actually supposed to be scheduled to play on a different surface. That one wasn't actually up to standard, so they did have to decide to go to a different stadium in Argentina. Show the game, stop talking, says Donovan. Unfortunately, due to licensing, we cannot do that. Do apologize for that in advance. And also, we get the hello, says Chad. Hello again, mate. People are doing well. The stadium reminds me of Ellis Park Stadium and Boks by 50 plus, says Johannes Payne. And how are you doing now? I'm doing all right. Thought I would be tireder than I am. I have been up all night, but I am still wide awake at this point in time. But like I mentioned, anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel and come on the box from a fan in England. And also, when does the game start? It does start in 6 minutes times. They have just got the national anthems. Here we go. We will have a drink of the H2O. Keep ourselves with a bit of a voice. as it could easily disappear at any point and in this live stream. But yeah, be sure to leave a like on the live stream. What's the odds for both teams, Hamish? I have money on the Bok win. So they are actually in the favourites' position to be able to get themselves the win, but probably not by as much as a lot of people would have been expecting with the Pumas, with the way that they did. Oh, they've got the South African national anthem. Now, this has become a bit of a tradition at this stage. Let's see if we can get it right. There we go. That wasn't too bad. That was actually almost one take, which wasn't too bad. But the South African national anthem currently is being played at the ground. So Argentina are $3 underdogs. South Africa $1.37 favourites for this one. Is this only commentary? It is indeed. And pretty cool guitar playing, says Rob. And also decent crowd by the looks of it. Yeah, it does look pretty good at the moment for this ground. A lot of people in attendance will be supporting the Argentines. That was nice, Hamish. Says Matthew, not too bad, bot. Says Gershon. And there as well. Currently, the South Africans, they are looking fired up. They are showing there the bench. They're actually... Oh, I thought they were in order of their numbers. But then it changed a little bit because we did have the bench almost in order, and then they kind of changed it for the starting lineup. And also, I was watching you last night, says Chad. And also, Wales in the house. Box by 17. Mapimpi for the first try scorer, says Thick Boy. And go the Bok, says Crix. And there, man's got skills on the guitar, says Thick Boy. And thank you, says Bianca. And there as well. And have Sky Sports offered you a job yet? Would love to see you covering the next World Cup. Keep up the good work, Hamish. Loving your commentary, says Taleo. I do appreciate that a lot. They have not reached out at this point. I honestly don't think they will either. Mainly because they've probably got about 50 ex-rugby players who will be putting their name up for that gig. And Hamish with the guitar skills. And do you like the Pumas? I do. They are a side full of passion. And they are also a side that never back down from a challenge, which is exactly what I want to see from them in this contest. We will see plenty of the passion in this national anthem. Pablo Matera's got a big smile on his face. We stream the actual match. Sadly, due to licensing, we are unable to show any real match footage, audio, or the footage, unfortunately. So I do apologize for that. My prediction: Argentina 83 to South Africa's 3. Says the username there. Bravo, Hamish. 5 out of 6. Says Spider-Mac, and I'm also here. Says Jordan there, but currently 3 minutes away from this contest getting underway. The crowd are getting ready for what could be a very exciting battle. Quickly, while we are hearing the national anthem of Argentina, we will look through at the starting lineups of these two sides. Once again, Tita Chaparro in the front row alongside Montoya and Eduardo Bello. Alemano and Lovanini will be the locks. And then Juan Matan Gonzalez at blindside flanco, Marcos Crema at number 7, and Pablo Matera there at number 8. Gonzalo Berrano, Santiago Carreras, Matthias Orlando, Geronimo de la Fuente, Lucio Cinti, Emiliano Boffelli, and Juan Cruz Malia will be the last man in that starting lineup. Then for the South Africans, Kitsoff and Marks in the front row, normally coming off the bench, do get themselves in the starting 15 this week, with Franz Malharba starting in as tight hair prop, Edzebev and Ludiaga as the locks, Sia Khaleesi, Franco Mostert, and Jesper Visa as the loose forward trio. Jaden Hendrickse at number 9, Damian Valimza, accompanied by Damian Dialende and Jesse Creel in the midfield. Makazole Mapimpi out on one wing, Cannon Moody out on the other after an impressive debut from that youngster, and then Willie LaRue is there at number 15. So that is the starting lineup for both of these sides. We have got hello, Hamish says, Kevin, welcome in. Hope you are doing very well indeed. I love your temperament, bro. I would have lost it by now. Folks keep telling me to show the game and stop talking respect, says Roger. And there, and oh yeah, we have probably heard it, I would say, not even exaggerating, probably almost, it's got to be 1,000 times by now from different people all around the world telling us to shush, pretty much is the gist of it. And also, Hamish is a utility player. He has guitar skills finer than Eric Clapton, and his commentary is finer than Matthew Pearce. The fact that Sky Sports hasn't already gotten you at the breakdown insults me, says Not Your Everyday Cultist. Currently, the South African national anthem is still being sung. It's almost a little bit more of a slower rendition of the Argentine national anthem than we are used to. Normally it is super quick with the trumpets going in the background, but this one is more of a slower, slightly more passionate version. Oh no, now it's speeding up, and Augustine Crevi is shouting big time at the end of the national anthem. I absolutely love Crevi passion for the anthem. Says sighted there in 24-28 to the box. Right, ladies and gentlemen, the national anthems are done. We are about to get straight into this contest between the Pumas and South Africa. Big implications on the line for this contest. Looking through at the way that the table sits, New Zealand at the top, sitting on 14 points. Australia in second on the 10. And then South Africa and Argentina both sitting on 9. If South Africa win this game by 30 points, they move themselves into first on the Rugby Championship. If Argentina win it, then everyone still has a chance of winning the Rugby Championship by the end of the rounds. Also, wait a minute, is the ref French? Or is he, if he is, then we can already forget about a win here. No, the referee is from New Zealand for this contest. My score is South Africa 33 and Argentina 20. And also what they still singing it. It was quite a long version of it, but I believe that's because they had the orchestra out there for Argentina. But yeah, James Dolman in charge of this one, the New Zealander. I hope he does a good job. Damon Murphy, the assistant referee, the Australian. Craig Evans and Chris Hart will be the TMO. Time for talking's almost over, except for me, because of course we do the commentary on the channel. So if I stop talking, it would be very silent and long anthem, says Finton there. But quickly, before we get into this match, do let me know your try prediction for who will score the first try of this contest, ladies and gentlemen. Will it be an Argentine? Will it be a Bok? And who will it be? Has it started? It is almost just about to kick off. Argentina, they are going to have the kickoff in their favour. 19th match as captain, 82nd cap for Julian Montoya. Like I mentioned, South Africa, they are going to be kicking off this one. Normally a football stadium, this one, as we can see by the circle that they have got on the halfway line. But Santiago Carreras ready to get us underway for this exciting contest. The last of round 5 in the Rugby Championship. We are ready to go. Carreras does kick it off high. It's going to be into the 22 of the box, and they go up for it beautifully. Taken by Damian Valimza straight away. And South Africa looking to go for a bit of a rolling Mui. I believe that's from Pablo Matera, not allowing him to get the knees down. It's a bit scrappy here, and it's going to be Argentina's scrum inside of the 22. They have said because he has gone up for it. Willie LaRue is just asking the question of, because it was off kickoff, can it be held up? And I'm interested to see what the explanation of James Dolman is for this one, because normally that is the rule. And also we've got there, Moody will get the first try, and also Stephen Kitsoff. Says Chad, I love both teams. Says Violeta. And also Pimpy or Moody. Says Colvian. Hopefully I've said that correctly. But now it is going to be Argentina who have got themselves the scrum feed. Well, this one, the pack weight's 903 kgs for South Africa, 878 kgs for the Argentines. And what's Itzebeth doing? And there says Dr. Weakrist. I'm sure he'll get himself fired up, get him into the game as it starts to develop a little bit more. Ball. Oh, it's a free kick to South Africa, so a mistake from Argentina there. So both sides having their early little bits of a mishap, I guess you could say. And 1K viewers, only 33 likes. And there says not everyday culture. So yeah, anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It is hugely appreciated. We are currently on the road to 18,000 subscribers. So if you do want to help us out, it is very hugely appreciated. It's kicked way downfield from Damian Valimza. It's gone into the 22, but it hasn't found touch. So now Argentina with Juan Cruz Malia is able to kick it back downfield, taken by Valimza just outside of his own 22, puts it high, chased hard by Jaden Henriksen. In fact, it's Willie LaRue does try and get onto that one. Santiago Carreras gets that one now 40 metres out from the line. Argentina have got a decent crack here. Will be the big man, Thomas Lovanini, tackled by Malcolm Marks, Eben Etzebeth. Starting to wrestle in there, trying to get the turnover, but it still stays on the side of Los Pumas. Looks like Gonzalo Berrano will be putting up the box kick now. Etzebeth did almost get himself in an offside position there. It's gone up high. Great take from Damian Valimza. He is just a young talent, 24 years of age. He's got an extremely bright future here for the box. Roll back, Jaden Hendrickson now going to be going for the box kick. We knew that there'd be a little bit of a kicking battle early on in this contest as both sides feel out the opposition, trying to go up for that one. It's a bit loose. It's going to be knocked on by Cannon Moody. Although they say play on. Just for now, they feel that it didn't hit his hand. Now Hendrickson. Nope, now they are going back for that scrum for the knock-on of Cannon Moody. I might have seen that a little bit earlier than the ref. The best rugby commentary on YouTube. Thanks, bro, says Gita. Hugely appreciated. And thanks for the same ish. Here in South Africa, we have load shedding. And therefore, it is impossible for many of us to watch the game because of your commentary. We can still follow the game. Says not your everyday cultist. And yeah, like I mentioned, we have been doing the URC as well. We have been keeping very active in the rugby community at the moment. And not thugs. Says Lynn, and also hello, says Chad. And hello again, Chad. Hope you are still doing well. And also, there you go, box, says Henry. So we'll be the scrum feed now for Argentina. We are 3 minutes into this contest. Still even playing field. And yes, great commentary, my friend, says Rob Roy. Do appreciate that a lot, mate. Now about to be fed in by Gonzalo Bertrano, sitting 45 meters out from the Pumas line. What was Hendrickson? Hendrickson was asking for a penalty. Oh, it becomes a penalty to the Pumas, though. Be careful what you wish for, Hendrickson. Kits off. I think him and Franz Malharba both ended up going down. So it didn't help out too much. And also we have got there Deviandre. Hopefully I said that correctly. I said hi, welcome in to the live stream, mate. Now Santiago Carreras will be looking to kick this one into touch. It's a decent kick downfield, 22 meters out. And now it is going to be the line out in favor of Los Pumas. I can't even watch the game because of bloody load shedding. It seems so rough that they always have load shedding. For one, on a weekend, and two, like at the same time as a Springbok test match. It seems like the worst possible timing for them to do it. Pablo Matera takes it nicely. Now hitting the line hard. It was Geronimo de la Fuente. Great work from the Pumas to be able to get Malcolm Marks out of there early. Santiago Carreras hit hard in the tackle by Ludiacha. Now around the side, Montoya tries to spin out of the tackle. South Africa making sure that they roll away quickly, stop themselves getting penalised in the breakdown. Sia Khaleesi trying to get the turnover, unable to do so. 5 minutes in now, and the Pumas still putting phase after phase together just outside of the box 22. Chipped in behind, a little bit of a risky tactic there. It looks like it's going to be sitting up. No, it just goes into touch. And Geronimo de la Fuente, a bit disappointed with that ball going out, but it's going to be 5 minutes out and now a line out for the Springboks. As I show the game, says Gordon, sadly due to licensing, we are unable to show any match footage or audio, or else we get taken straight off YouTube, just like that. They do, well, they are very strict in the matter, and also load shedding is staggered, is staggered in South Africa. Not everyone has it at the same time, says Toby. And it there as well. And also, yo, brother, says Maxi, hope you are doing very well, mate. You will be eagerly watching this game, seeing who sets up for that final round of the Rugby Championship. It's going to be an awesome finish, though. A photo finish, perhaps. Now I'll go onto the short side. Good run from Stephen Kitsoff. Malcolm Marks dives in. Keep it on the side of the box. It looks like Jaden Hendricks is going to be rolling this ball back. Wants to use it a couple more times. Gives it off to Franz Malharba. Runs straight at Eduardo Bello there. South Africa, they will have the chance to go for the kick. Jaden Hendrickson just needs that ball to come out the back like it has. And will now be putting up another box kick. I think it almost hit the hand of Thomas Lovanini, which did mean it went a little bit further infield. Now Juan Cruz Malia tries to step. Good tackle on him by Damian Dialende. 40 meters out now for the Pumas. Pablo Matera trying to find a gap that just wasn't there. He ran into a wall of Diaga and Visa. Now Eduardo Bello drops the head, trying to make a couple extra meters for his side. Nice work. Or Mostert's in from the side there. That's going to be the advantage. You cannot do that. And now Argentina, they've got a little bit of an extra bit of time to play with the ball. It will be going back for the penalty, though. Once again, delayed or something. See, it's Grau, so it is a 7:10 a.m. kickoff. They were about 5 minutes behind or something along those lines from the national anthems. And also, we'll get there. Whose line are they on? Says Hangarat. So it was the South African line that they were on. Now they are sitting on the halfway line. And Argentina have got themselves the penalty, which does mean it's in Emiliano Boffelli's distance if he decides that he does want to kick it for the tee or off the tee. And that is what they are going to be doing. And also, we have got there, and the Yankees not playing. Love that dude, says Edmund. He's back in South Africa at the moment. The man did the dietitian. No, he got himself in a bit of trouble Elton Yankees. So he did get sent back to South Africa. But Emiliano Boffelli putting the ball on the tee. This will be a big strike, and the Springbok lads should take you out for a beer. You pronounce the name so well. Says Jorina, and also great rolling of the R's when you pronounce our Safa names. Says Evan there as well. Now, Emiliano Boffelli from about 48 out, slight angle. Certainly got the distance in that department, but it's whether or not he's got the accuracy. He has actually been kicking at a very high accuracy for 2022. 8 minutes into this contest, can the Argentines get themselves a little bit of scoreboard pressure in this contest? Up against the box, Emiliano Boffelli. He strikes it. He's got the distance on it, and not only that, it is going to be sailing over the post. And the score now 3-0 in favour of Argentina. It's a decent enough strike. Managed to curve around quite nicely for him as well. Now 3-0 in favour of the Argentina. 3-0 in favour. I thought that rhymed for some reason in my head, but it's nowhere near it. And 3-0 final result, says Max. Yeah, just end the game now. I'm sure Argentina would be very happy with that result. And also Hamish, a.k.a. commentator, and well, Yankees did something wrong, innocent till proven, and all that, says Hangarat. And also, where's Guru, says Peter. He was scheduled to do the live stream. Did he end up doing it in the end, Peter, or did he end up not doing it? I know that he had one scheduled, because we did actually talk about it earlier on in the week when we did our live stream, or not our live stream, but our video together. And please send a link to watch the game. I am actually watching it on Sky here in New Zealand, but if you get a Stan Sport free subscription, if you're in Australia, it does help out big time there. Don't understand when Elton doesn't score. They keep him in the box. As soon as he scores, they send him home, says Daryl. Poor Elton, eh? Dialende almost going through the gap. Now sitting 22 metres out from the line. Good work from Thomas Lovanini. Now Hendrickse back again. Good recycle pass. Quick out to Sia Khaleesi. Now 15 metres out from the line. The box looking dangerous on attack already. Franz Harba with a nice cutting run, but he is dragged down by the captain, or one of the leading figures in the team. Pablo Matera currently 6 phases in. Crowd getting behind them. Damien Dialende. Oh no, it was actually Jesse Creel who was hit around the side. I think Damien Dialende was close to dropping that one. Makazole Mapimpi recycling extremely quickly here for the box. Now it's going to be the advantage in favour of the away side. Going back across, Willie LaRue trying to back the pace. Cannon Moody shut down early. And more than likely, this will now be going back for the penalty in favour of the South Africans. And also we have got the Brandy, the Briars going in the awesome commentary. Thank you, brother, says Johnny. Do appreciate you being here for this one. 5 metres out from the line, tackle off the ball. Penalty against, I believe, one of the Argentine players that ended up tackling Jesse Creel. Now, I mentioned in the Curry Cup, or sorry, not the Curry Cup, the URC earlier on, we saw the South Africans taking the quick tap and go approach. I don't think we're going to see that here, unfortunately. Instead, I think you take the easy 3, and that is what they're going to do. Can you beat me at eating 20 chicken nuggets from KFC? I mean, that depends. Who's paying for the chicken nuggets? Sounds like the box found use for their legs. And also go back. And also we have got there watching from Doha, Qatar, says Toby Hart. Oh, what time is it in Qatar at the moment, Toby? Do let me know. Damien Valimza from about 7 metres out from the line. So it was initially the tackle, I thought, on Jesse Creel that got them the penalty against them. Okay, James Dolman is saying, just keep repeating what you're saying. So I feel like there might already be a bit of a communication error between the TMO and the New Zealand referee. James Dolman, Valimza puts it over from 10 metres out in front, and that is going to be 3 points to 3. And also, can Kwaha snort anything? Says Timothy. I know that his nose has taken quite a bit of punishment throughout the years, that is for sure. And 10-23, and Moody up-and-coming players. And also, why did they have to disturb the hotel guests, though? And also, Bug commentators curse the boxer try there, bro, says Edmund. And also, we have got there, you have to cut all your hair off if it's a draw, says the Vold. I mean, the thing is, though, a draw is kind of likely in this contest, you'd have to say. Both of these sides, they could be close. I did say South Africa by 8 in my original prediction, but it's very tricky to tell whether or not that will be the case. And also, what teams are you going to play as when you, says Chad. It's going to be kicked high with the box kick, moving up to 20 metres out. It's going to be bouncing awkwardly. Now it's going to be straight in the hands of Jasper Visa. The Leicester Tigers representative, of course, they went all the way to the Gallagher Premiership Championship last year. Premiership Championship in the same sentence sounds very weird, but Ludiacha with a nice carry, that's going to be an advantage there against Argentina for not being able to roll away. I believe that time it was against Matthias Alemano, almost sits up for Damien Dialende, and they will be going back for another penalty in favour of the Boks. Can you beat me in rugby, says Matthew. I have no idea how good you are at rugby, so more than likely no. And also, we're listening to commentary without the noise of the crowd. Are you keeping it exciting, though? Thanks, says Reiko. Yeah, it's always a weird one. I always wonder what it sounds like because I can hear the game in my ears only just so that I can listen to the TMO and whatnot. Link to view the game, please. Stansport.com.au would be your best bet. Okay, they're actually giving the Argentine side the last warning here early on, and Matthew Wishart sounds very competitive, says Rob Roy. Does sound that way. I'll get a mullet for a draw. And also, we have got Come On Vamos Pumas there. And also, we have got They Better Kick It. Looks like it will be Damien Valimza. Might be lining this one up. So trying to go up for it, Lucio Cinti. Now, it's a bold call putting him in the starting lineup because he does normally get about a 50-50 chance of either coming off the bench or getting to start. And who's here because of load shedding? It does seem like we've got quite a few tuning in from the load shedding. So I do hope that you guys are able to catch a replay of this game after it does take place. There normally is an illegal stream or an illegal highlight of the full match on YouTube later on, maybe about 30 to an hour after the match is over. Damien Valimza, 3 points today. We're looking to add a few more onto the board, and nothing like a nice scandal. Get everyone hot under the collar. Maybe the Bok will play with extra urgency, says Ruth. And if the Boks win, you can, or you have to make more Rugby Challenge 4 videos, says Chad. I mean, I could probably make more anyway, to be fair. Do you remember Australia versus Argentina? I certainly do. That one's going to be missing from Damien Valimza. Normally very good off the tee from 45 out. That one just hasn't quite come off the way that he wanted. But yeah, it was an interesting 2-match series. Australia winning the first, then Argentina winning by a record margin in the next game. And also, what are you doing for the win, Hamish? Here, beer drinking his hanger out. There's the thing, I have to sacrifice a part of either my facial hair or my actual hair, don't I? But, you know what? If the Springboks win by... Oh, I'm going to regret doing this. If the Springboks win by 10 or more, we'll once again get rid of the beard and I'll just have the mustache again. That seems to be the one that ends up always happening. Andrea said, you are my commentary or my go-to commentary guy, says Dre. And that is hugely appreciated. 15 minutes into this game. There's going to be Julio Montoya, throws it in. Nicely taken by Thomas Lovanini. Etzebev trying to get straight through the middle of the rolling ball, but it looks like Lovanini and Alemano doing very nicely to keep him away from that ball. Emiliano Borfelli tries to go through 50 meters out now. And the Pumas, they haven't really got themselves a line break yet. It's great defense from the Springboks. That's going to be a Malcolm Marks advantage against them for not rolling away. Pretty unlucky. He did try his absolute best to get out of there, but now the cross kick, it's worked out. Oh, it's been dropped by Lucio Cinti. You've got to take those every day of the week. It will be going back for the penalty in favour of the Pumas, though. And are you doing more comp at the NPC? Says Chad, I am going to do a little bit of the NPC. Probably not tomorrow or today because I will be sleeping. Damien Valimza is going to cost us the game by bad kicking, says Adrian there. And also we have got there, does anyone know what channel on DSTV this match is playing on, please? Says Cusiello. Oh. Now, I don't know my DSTV too well, but I hope some people in the chat will be able to help you out for that one. Great commentary as usual. You must be glad Arinsa is a player. Yeah, I still haven't quite got the pronunciation of his name down. And Owen Morning Bro says Troy B, welcome in. Hope you are doing well. 3 penalties against South Africa at this point in time. 2 against Argentina. It is quite hot there at the moment. I believe it had about 26 degrees Celsius. So more than likely, we are going to see quite a few drinks breaks. And Emiliano Borfelli wants a kicking tee. He better get... Okay, the time has now been turned off. Now, this will be an interesting one. They can't use up too much time. Borfelli. He wants the tee. No one remembered the tee. You got the drink bottle. time back on, although that time was still going for another like 15 seconds more. I'm worried about Itzebeth, says Dr. Weakrist. And can you give us a guitar session playing Soshloza at halftime? Have I pronounced that correctly? Is that the South African part that I did play earlier on? Because if it is, I could try my best. And what channel is the game on, says Chad. If you are in New Zealand, it is on Sky Sport 1. Okay, 211. There we go, says Lynn, for that one. And also, we've got their link, says Vanessa. So, yeah, if you type in Stan Sport Australia into Google, you will be able to find that free trial, but you will have to be in Australia to be able to do so. If you guys do need to set yourself to Australia, be sure to use that VPN that we have got in the pinned comment. And what channel is this game on for DSTV? It is 215 by the sounds of it from Bianca there. Costello. Yeah, that could be the option. 18 minutes in. Argentina looking to add another 3 points onto the board to double the points they've got. Oh, no, he shanked that. He shanked that real bad. That one didn't even make it to the posts for Emiliano Boffelli, and now Eben Etzebeth gets his first carry of the contest. Already 18 minutes in. That does not feel like 18 minutes has passed already. Now, Jaden Hendrickson looking to put up the box kick. I think it's just games in Argentina that go really quick. It's going to go into touch. A good kick downfield, down towards the 40-meter line in favour of the Pumas. And also just the mustache, but a Hadley one, says Chris. And also some say Etzebeth was built in a secret military complex. And any free stream says, Youngster, your best bet is a Stan Sport free subscription in Australia. You will need a VPN, though, to be able to check that out. But that is the only way of watching it for free. But then you also have to have a VPN, which costs money. So it's a bit of an unfortunate one. And the forecast, it is about 28 degrees. That's going to be the penalty there to the Springboks. Players on the ground, then join back up with the maul. Looks like Julio Montoya, just a little bit confused with that one. And also, all the Etzebeths are big, says Brett. And Willems are missing one and already screams for Stain, says Vicious. But that one has gone into touch. And now 25 metres out, it will be a South African line out once again. Malcolm Marks, normally very accurate with his line outs. And also, we've got the out the box. Says it was Sergio. And also, we have got there, where can we watch the game live, please, says Shelton. Depending on whereabouts you are in the world, depends on your options. If you're in Australia, you can watch it on Stan Sport with a free trial. That is your best bet. If you are outside of Australia, you more than likely will need a VPN. If you do need one, we have got a link there. You get an extra 3 months free. So it is a relatively good deal there. And also works out to only be about maybe $2 a month to be able to watch all of the World 7 series. Cannon Moody close to the line, only 1 metre short. Now Hendrickson on the short side. I believe he was able to get it down, but they want to check it just in case because it's ended up in the hands of Argentina. Right, Jaden Hendrickson may have just been able to make his way over the line now. Vamos Pumas, says Alejandro. And also we have got there, can't see any bonus points in this game, says Cooper Cronk. Although a bonus point that I can see happening is a losing by less than 7. I have no try players held up, says Damon Murphy, but they do just want to watch this again on the replay just to make sure that they have got the right decision. Time is off. Definitely wasn't onside, they have said. 10 white could be offside. That is going to be Santiago Carreras, which more than likely would mean yellow card and a penalty try could be coming up here if they can confirm that Santiago Carreras is not onside. And as we have said, and the devil made him cry, says Dr. Weakrist. And also, are you good at kicking in rugby? Not really, no. I just normally try and get by, but not very well. Cannon Moody, he got extremely close to the line, but Santiago Carreras, he's offside. That's going to be a yellow card and a penalty try in the process, I should say. And also, have you ever went to school with a bloke that ended up playing pro rugby, says The Vault? I haven't, but I have played in a team. This is going to be a bit of a stretch, but I have played in a South Canterbury representatives team with an All Black, which is Cullen Grace, or an ex-All Black at the moment, as he isn't in them currently. But that is going to be a penalty try to Argentina. They are going to be down to 14, and they are going to be down 10 points to 3 now. And also, geez, Matthew, What other activity can you think of? It also, please, not another wooden spoon. Says Max Power. And there as well. And also, good question, Hamish. Kicks like a cook and cooks like a kicker, says Darren Smith. Now, ball on the halfway line, going to be kicked off by Argentina. That is the last thing that they wanted in that situation. A penalty try to South Africa, making the score 10 points to 3 in favour of the away side, the Boks. We are a quarter of the way through this contest. Ask Yankees. He knows lots of different sports. Duvet wrestling is one, says Roof. Now, Juan Cruz Malia has to kick this one off. He's gone long, deep into the 22, and it will be Espavisa, who now tries to run it back. He's tackled by Juan Matan Gonzalez. Looks like now Jaden Hendrickson will be rolling this ball back. Argentina, they were the least carded side out of any team in the competition, but now they have got themselves just a little bit more on the board. Nice work from Juan Matan Gonzalez. He is right up there for leading try scorers of the competition. That was interesting from Khaleesi. You'd have to say he did try and get back on side, but he also slowed down the ball for the Pumas in the process. Now Lovanini goes around. Ludiacha tries to get out of the way of that one. He's done very well. Pablo Matera now chopped down by Franco Mostert. Now Ebenezer Bev, it's going to be the advantage. The hands are on the ball, but the referee says that it is going to be, at this point in time, a penalty advantage to Los Pumas. Berrano goes back to Pablo Matera, trying to run away from Ebenezer Bev. He's been able to do nicely. Ball over the top, opens up some space now. Matthias Orlando, ball on the outside. That's going to be forward by about 5 years, and they are going back for the initial penalty in favour of the Pumas. And now the tries will come on, or go Bok. Burns need to play for territory and aim for the corner dominant position to win the game. Vamos Argentina. And there as well, says Nathan. Penalty to Argentina. They will, I would think, try and use up a little bit more time on the clock, but they'll either go with the 3 or the corner here. Those are their 2 options. I think they'll go for the 3. And Hamish should become a referee. So we'll have an honest one, says Reiko. I'll probably get myself into trouble, though. Like, I'll end up giving a call, but I would hate to be a referee. Like, I used to be referee at high school, and that was hard enough. Like, trying to control people out there on the park. Like, if someone feels they haven't given away a penalty and you tell them that they have, they just get angry at you. Seems very hard to be a official referee, that is for sure. Did Brian Urbana tip you, says the Roof there. And wham bam, WTF just happened, says Edmund. So, yeah, it was a nice counter-attack we did see from Los Pumas. Nice wide cutout pass from Pablo Matera, but now Emiliano Boffelli will be lining up the 3 points to make it just a 4-point contest. Now, Emiliano Boffelli, he's relatively up there on the point scorers for the competition. Has Makazole Mapimpi had the ball yet? I think he's had 1 carry around the side of the breakdown, but other than that, we have not really seen him with the ball in hand. But now, off the boot of Emiliano Boffelli. It's still actually from about 26 metres out, so he wants to make sure he takes his time. Can't take too long, though. Strikes it straight down the middle. He's done well there. Emiliano Boffelli. That seems risky, having flames just behind the field, because if that ball goes over the top of the flame, surely you end up with like a flaming torpedo of a ball. That would be a danger, but I guess it's not as bad as lighting fireworks inside of an indoor stadium. Australia had been there, done that for the last match. And Yankees guilty or not, says Brett. I haven't really read into the situation enough to know the full story. All I know is they've kind of taken the precautions of taking him out of the side, and then from there, they probably have some more decisions that they have to make. That is going to be a penalty now in favour of the Springboks. Now, who's that down? Oh, Ebenezer a little bit slow getting up there, which is a bit rare. I think he might have caught one in the midsection down under, and I'm not talking about an Australian player. Now kicking for the corner. South Africa looking aggressive here, deciding that they want to try and get the maximum amount of points available while the Pumas are down a man. We have also got the super commentary, says Neil. Thank you very much, mate. He was with his wife, so I let him have their privacy along the way. Says Saito also both Yankees and dietitian denies an affair. Says Vicious. And more commentary, less comments, please. Says Pierre's going to be thrown in nicely. Franco Mostert, he was almost chopped out early. Yes, he was. So now it is going to be the penalty in favour of the Pumas. In favour of the Springboks, although it is actually just going to be the advantage at this stage. The rolling ball. No, they're going back for it. The ball. Okay, the players were on the ground shifting around, so that is why they weren't able to continue that rolling maul. Looks like Pablo Matera might have a bit of an injury at the moment. No, he springs back up. He's fine. He's a tough bugger, Pablo Matera. And also, we over there, Yankee's wife is in Japan. Says Vicious in there. Now, once again, they will be looking for that corner. Malcolm Marks, one of the most accurate line-out throwers you will ever see for the South Africans, or at least currently off stats anyway. Bit better than Joseph Weber's accuracy. That is for sure. Nice work there from the Pumas. Join up at just the right time, but this is going to be extremely hard to stop because Jesse Creel and Damien Dialende both involved. It's going to be dragged down once again. This is just going to be repeated until the Springboks score. It's going to be another penalty against the Springboks. 5 meters out. And now Willie LaRue, he will kick it into the corner once again. And now it is going to be another shot for the corner. And also we have got there in the chat, is your mum asleep, says Chad? Probably. It is currently 7:40 a.m. on a Sunday morning here in New Zealand. Now kicking for the corner once again. I guess it's using up more time for Argentina, but it is pretty much, unless something drastic happens here, we are just going to see repeated attacks at the line until either the Pumas end up with a yellow card or the South Africans do manage to make their way over the line. And also I found a game, or the live game on YouTube. The channel is called The Only Fams Gaming, says Moonstone. And there are normally quite a few options on YouTube for live streams of the actual match. They just normally get taken down relatively quickly. Now another rolling maul here. Good defense from the Pumas at this current point in time. They want to be told that they have to use it. And they have gone backwards. Jaden Hendrickson now after Damien Dialende. Tries to go through, but he's dragged down by Gonzalo Berrano. Now Malcolm Marks has a crack 27 minutes into this contest. Now Hendrickson, he sells the dummy. He goes through and he scores it between the posts. And Jaden Hendrickson, he had some more points. Almost a second try for himself if he had been able to ground that first one. But that is going to be now 15 points to 6 in favour of South Africa. And Jaden Hendrickson is the man who made his way over the line. And also we have got there, Hamish, where's our mods tonight? Says Nathan, and there they might be sleeping as well, perhaps. And even just brought a friend's house. Won't say where. Says hang a wrap, but it was good work from Jaden Hendrickson. There was just a number of Pumas players who were a lot further out wide than Hendrickson was, which did open up that gap beautifully for him to be able to run through. This will be a nice, easy kick straight out in front. It looks like Ludiacha might have a bit of an injury. At the moment, easy as a like with that dummy. Says Sighted and Vamos Pumas. Says Pablo. And there's our try time, says DJ. Now 28 minutes into the game. Damian Valimza looking to add the extra 2 points. Has been able to get it over, so that will now make the score 17 points to 6 in favour of South Africa. Who's kicking it is still Damian Valimza. They have decided to keep him around. Well, the kicking, he missed the one earlier, but I feel like it would have been very harsh to take him out. I love your com, says Chad. And also Go Box, says Lynn. Jaden Hendrickson does very nicely there to just go straight through the gap, and ref helping South Africa, says Skipper Kronk there, and also Whoop Whoop, says Antonia, and then yeah, boys, says Pierre for the box as well. So they are still going to be down to 14 men. Juan Cruz Malia, he won't mind taking a couple extra seconds off the clock going for this kickoff. Every single time that the Pumas have kicked off, they have tested out what way the wind is going. Although it wouldn't have changed too much, I wouldn't have thought, in the 7 minutes or so since they last kicked off. Yes, Pavisa now going to be tackled hard by Juan Matan Gonzalez, gets him low. If the Pumas can get themselves another penalty at some stage soon, get themselves those 3 points, that would probably be not too bad of a time where they have our Carreras in the bin. Kick downfield from Jaden Hendrickson, now 40 metres out. Makazole Mapimpi look to go up for it. Going to be a big shot on Emiliano Boffelli by Etzebeth, but the Pumas have got the ball now on the halfway line. Good run from Pablo Matera. Now getting flipped over. Penalty to South Africa for no clear release. Springbok playing the usual, slow the ball down, add pressure for the penalty game, says Troy. I'd say they're being a little bit more attacking now. That could be due to that yellow card, though, to try and keep the pace going extra quickly and try and really wear down the Pumas while you have got that man advantage as well. But currently in the odds, it doesn't look too good for the Pumas as we currently sit, but that's the thing. It's always very tough to tell who will be able to win a game at the end of it. And also the Springbok, says Peter there. And also we have got, looks like the ref is performing well so far, says Cited. Give petrol books, give petrol feet, says Adrian. give petrol books. Oh, that one's gone straight over my head, Adrian. I'll be honest. Malcolm Marx about to throw this ball in 30 metres out from the line of Los Pumas. They are just showing there Eduardo Bello. Certainly feeling the heat in Argentina for this contest. Is going to go in a little bit loose, but Ludiacha, he may have missed it, but it went straight to Franz Malharba, who was sitting behind him now. Jasper Visa moves up to the 22-metre line. The Boks once again will be throwing everything into this attack, try and get themselves some extra points on the board. They've given away another penalty advantage against the Pumas. Now Damian Dialende goes back, quick hands from Damian Valimza. That is now going to be going back. A little mistake from their Blitzboks, or sorry, from the Springboks. Blitzboks, of course, the 7th side. Now, they have got the option 22 metres out to go for a kick. And Bok, be careful we don't lose the second half. And how's things says there? And they're doing very well. It's currently sitting 7:45 a.m. in New Zealand. Nice and early on the 15. They're just trying to work out exactly where this penalty is going to be from. But Damian Valimza, he will be kicking this one into touch once again. Way up into the lights. It's pretty dark here. Get moving over the line, Bok, says Roof. And also, I'm already pitching you without that beard, says Goose. I feel like I got a very bad deal because I realized if they didn't win by 15, or how many was it, 10 or 15? I think it was 10. But if they didn't win by 10, I got nothing. So it didn't really work out very well for me, did it? It was either damned if I do, damned if I don't. And there. Now Malcolm Marx throws it into Ludiacha. The back of Malcolm Marx. Going to start this one rolling once again. If you're the Pumas, you cannot go. Oh, that's about 7-on-1. Malcolm Marx over. And it's going to be another try for the Springboks. They're chasing the bonus point, and that will be their 3rd try. So currently, as they sit, they have got themselves a bonus point just for now. And also, if the Bok takes first half, we have it in the bag for sure, says Oreiko. And also rolling maul to a running maul try, unstoppable, says Cited. It was always going to be hard to stop, but that yellow card is becoming very costly for them. And also, how much would you have they have to win by to shave your eyebrows? Probably 500. There you go. They win by 500, I'll shave an eyebrow. Mainly because at the moment they're playing very well, and I haven't seen too much fight from the Pumas at this point in time. Nice work from Malcolm Marx. Just got it onto the line. And good job on the commentary, says Michael. And then, let's go bonus points. I mean, against boys, says Darren Smith for this one. So the bonus point currently, I mentioned that the Springboks need to win this game by 30 points to be sitting first on the Rugby Championship table heading into the final round. So they are already sitting with a nice 16-point lead. So we currently sit in this contest. And also we have got the I agree, let's be positive, says Lynn. And also it looks like a 50-plus score for the Bok, says Granville. And also winners at halftime. Currently it is sitting 33.5 minutes through. And also what's the thing with your beard, says Tim. Pretty much I did say that if, that's one. Did that curl away too much? It did for Damian Valimza. I pretty much said if the Springboks win by 10 or more, I had to shave the beard and leave the mustache. But then I never ended up with any benefit from any of the other options. Your beard is in danger, fella, says Hanger Rat. It was probably going to be in danger after this game anyway, mainly because it's gotten a bit long to shave an eyebrow. So you only have one. If they win by 500, says username, yeah. Something along those lines. A nice start by the Boks, says Jazz. Now it is going to be kicked off by Argentina once again. Currently, Carreras, he has made his way back out onto the field. It was an expensive yellow card. I believe the Boks were able to get themselves 19 points in the process. Now Jasper Visa runs a hard at the Pumas again. And I was like, good, that's the way we like it, Bok. And there as well, says Ruben. And also, we have got there, thanks, Borta, for the commentating, says Maritz. No worries at all. It's going to be slapped back by the Pumas, but slapped back onto the side now of the Springboks. Jasper Visa, he's had quite a few carries throughout the early stages of the contest. Now Hendrickse fires back into the pocket. That's time Willemse will put it high. Out on the wing, Cannon Moody. It's taken beautifully, though, by Los Pumas. Now the counter-attack. Burrano goes Parlamentero on the inside to Julia Montoya. Now back across. Gonna be at Nahul Titas Chaparro. Back on the halfway line. The Pumas going for the kick again. I'm not sure whether or not that is the best tactic that they could be going for. It's going to be going up. And it's a knock-on, first of all, from Argentina. And then from the Springboks. Nice commentary, Kiwi lads. You say those South African names so well, says Ruth. And also we have got there, good, that's the way we like a box, and also put the game on the screen. Unfortunately, due to licensing, any match footage or audio gets us taken straight off YouTube. So we are unable to do that, sadly. And also we have got there, is it a full stadium? Relatively full. There are still a few empty seats around. And also take Damien off, put Pollard on. Well, Pollard's currently injured for another few weeks. So I don't know whether or not he'll be the option. Maybe Franz Stein might be the better option for it. And we are not world champions for nothing. We are still showing why, says Reiko. And did you watch, or do you watch Cobra Kai? I haven't actually seen it. The stage is on Netflix, isn't it? Now, going to be 36 minutes through. 4 minutes left of the half. And scrimmaging is not stable, says Cited there. Oh, almost going in. It's a penalty to the Pumas this time. Right, they have to go for the corner here. They cannot afford to not risk it. At this point in time, you're down by 16. I think Julian Montoya just pointed to the corner and said, we've got to go for it. The Monster Estates will come on for 12. Says Vicious there. And also, we there, are you going to lose your bed for sure? Or you are going to lose your bed for sure. Go Bok in there as well. Now, the moment it is sitting 6 points for Argentina, 22 for the South Africans. And let's get another try before halftime, says DJ. Julian Montoya about to throw this ball in. Oh, time off. Okay, they were trying to work out how many numbers the Springboks had compared to the Pumas. It seems like there's a lot of confusion at the line-out time with who is going to be everywhere. That's going to be a mistake from the Pumas. Actually threw it straight into the hands of Malcolm Marks after doing their little set play. Now, Jaden Hendrickse going to be there, sitting only 10 meters out from the line. Now, Jaden Hendrickse puts the ball high. It is going to be finding touch. That one, I am just quickly checking what the odds are sitting at the moment as well. Now, that's a wonky throw. That's really bad from the Pumas. Nowhere near straight. So it is going to be the scrum feed for South Africa. Big mistake from Julian Montoya. Normally very accurate with the lineouts, but he decided to rush it, which then led to it just going a little bit wrong. Don't give away easy penalty, guys. Keep it tight. And also we're going to make the change now. Bring on Franz Stein, please, coach. And also we're going to hope to hear of a maul ruck box style somewhere in the game, says Reiko there as well. And what's the points per try and for the win? Or what's the point situation per try and for the win? Should the Springboks go for more tries? Think at the moment, the Springboks, as long as they win this game theoretically by 30, they take first in the Rugby Championship on home soil. You'd have to think that they would be pretty confident that they can put a big score over the Pumas again. But with this Rugby Championship, the way that it's sitting, it's so hard to predict who is going to be at the top of the bunch. As you can see, this is how close the table is as we do currently sit. Now, 2 minutes left. The Springboks, they will have the scrum feed 23 meters out from their line currently. And now will be going down for it. They've currently got the bonus point, though, so that will actually move them up onto 14 points as well. With a points differential currently, they will be sitting on plus 28. So slowly gaining up to the All Blacks, who are in first. Hi, Hamish, says David the Mole. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Now, solid scrum. It's gone down in the front row. Bit of an extra push from the Springboks. They've got the advantage once again, and they are just getting every single advantage at the moment. That's a mistake from Jesse Krill, and they will be going back for another penalty. Pumas down by 5 points on the log. So what do we need to do? So you need to win this game, and you need to win it with a bonus point to really keep you in the running, which is 3 or more tries than your opposition. And hey, mate, says Ollie, welcome in. You are doing well now. It is going to be the Springboks who will be kicking this one for touch just outside of their own 22. Dialende, he gets some good distance on it. Pumas try and keep it alive. It is going to be in touch, though. And Damian Valenza getting just about as much distance on that kick as physically possible for that one. And I would like Esterhuizen replaces Damien Dialende, says Alfie. And there it looks like Bert Renault. He actually had the headgear or the strapping on his forehead before the match started. So I assume he took a knock at halftime, before the game in the warm-up. And also, we were there. Did you watch the NBC yesterday? We certainly did. We actually streamed 2 of the games on the channel as well. And where's the line out currently on the 22 of South Africa? They are going to have themselves the line out throw. Malcolm Marks Goes it in now. Franco Mostert takes it nicely once again. The Springboks will look to that rolling maul instead, though. Khaleesi breaks off. Nice little bit of a set play there. Inside ball to Malcolm Marks. Now off Makazole Mapimpi. Gives it to Mostert. It's going to be a not rolling away penalty in favour of the Springboks again. Double blow the whistle. This will be a last warning for Argentina because they have been given away plenty of penalties. And this one, how long is left on the yellow? They have actually gone back to the 15. And good evening and a good morning to you, says Nuno. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Okay. I believe Montoya has to have a chat with his team. And great commentary, Amish says Reno and Kiwi Lad for president. I keep going, my friend, watching from the UK. Go box, says Marcus. They're right. They do want the scrum this time. The Springboks are throwing a whole heap of different, I guess, looks towards the Pumas, whether they're going for a line-out rolling maul or whether they are going to be going for that scrum feed. It was a great inside ball from Sia Khaleesi. Actually lured in two of the defenders in the process. I'm back now, says Chad. And there as well. Now 5 metres out from the Pumas line. The Springboks will have themselves a scrum feed 30 seconds past the halftime mark. But until this ball goes out, or if they do have a stoppage in play, the Pumas are going to have to keep on digging deep, try and get out of this half, only being the 16 points down. Jaden Hendrickson about to feed this ball in. Neither side has really had a scrum that's looked too sturdy throughout the match. There's been a little bit of a slip on both sides, but that's a better scrum from the Springboks. Now Jasper Vesa tries to break through. He's been tackled by Matthias Orlando, driven backwards by about 5 to 10 metres. Now Hendrickson gives it off to Kitsoff. Gets the leg striding. Taken down low. Now Hendrickson goes off to Ludiacha. They are recycling this ball beautifully at the moment for the Springboks, keeping it alive and trying to get themselves another try before they get into halftime. 5 minutes out. Jasper Vesa has an Argentine on both legs. It's going to be another advantage against Argentina. I believe that time it was for offside. Now Hendrickson back again. Goes to Damian Valimza. Nice inside ball to Jesse Creel, but he's run straight into Kremer. Finds the offload to Valimza, who does the spin and the step as well, bouncing out of a tackle of Pumas. Now, it's close to the turnover. Yes, it is, but they are going back for the initial penalty in favour of the South Africans. Okay. I think Gonzalo Burrano is now going to be going to the bin. That gets worse for Argentina. They have now lost their number 10, and now they have lost their number 9 in the process. So now it's not looking good for the Pumas in this contest. I was like, go, box. And then also make us proud, box. And yes, Bok, says Lynn there. Also, what's your opinion on the refereeing so far? I mean, it's been justified. The Pumas have given away way too many penalties just out from their own line, which is why they have been warned, and then now they have had another man find himself in the bin. But Malcolm Marks going to be going for the line out here. Damien Tialende is at the front, and Kenan Moody is also in the line out, so they are luring in as many players as they can, but it's a mistake. It sits up for Lutiacharo, and he's over. Or is he? It is a try for Ludiacha, and they had about 15 players almost in their line out that time, the Springboks, but it worked out. It was a mistake from Franco Mostert at the back. Wasn't quite able to take it clean. I think that's why they want to check this one quickly. See whether or not there was a knock-on. Malcolm Marks. Mostert. Oh, I think he knocked it into his own hand and slapped it back. I think that's going to be maybe all right. And Ludiacha might have just scored himself a try. Or see, he just gets a fingertip on it. Was that fingertip enough to keep it going backwards? Or see, it was travelling forward, but then the finger caught it. So it never touched the ground before it started travelling, and then you got it to go back. I think that's going to be a try for Ludiacha here. Has initially gone up. It's gone forward because he needs to regather. It's considered lost forward. Okay, so it's going to actually be no try for the knock-on. It was interesting. The scoreboard actually took it off in the game before we got to the point of them making the decision. So because he did have to regather it after losing the contact with his own hand, they do consider that as a knock-on. And also as Argentina, the Scotland of the Southern Hemisphere, started the tournament really promising and ended disappointing through their own errors and ill discipline and lots of firepower and energy from the Bok, playing well as a unit, says Roof. Yeah, this side has been looking roofless in this game, you'd have to say, with the way they've been attacking. Etzebeth looks like he's got a bit of a limp here. Hopefully he is going to be all right to continue. Faf de Klerk has decided rather than using the ramp, he'll just jump up and go underneath the railing. And also we have got there, it's not rocket science, Boks will walk this competition, says Katema. Although walking it, you'd have to say they should have won every game at this point. They have only won the 2 out of the 4. So it's not quite a walk in the park, but it's getting closer to being able to get towards a Springboks Rugby Championship. And also, you want to see Scooper Cronk and also no try, says RJJ, and say Brailes and Borwas. I've probably said that wrong, haven't I? Well, the second one, I know that that's something that goes on the bri, but I can't quite say it, unfortunately. And also, Rugby World Cup 2023 champions France, says Frank. And also, out of the box, says Chad. And also, where are they playing in Argentina? It actually got changed. Initially, it was going to be at a different stadium. This stadium's an even harder one to say. Also, Avery, loving your commentary. Can we have What You're On classic from Hawks, South Africa? Says Gabriella, can we have What You're On? As in medication? Because this is just sleep deprivation. That's the best thing to do for yourself. If you do want to be wide awake, you just end up pretty much like, I've been awake for about 18 hours at this point in time, and it's working well for myself. And boring rolling malls for South Africa, they may be considered boring for some people. They're working. They have got themselves a couple penalties in their advantage. They've got themselves a couple tries. And also we have got there, you said with 8 right. I did indeed say by 8. And also please leave Fuff out, says Ruben. And also thank you for the great first half commentary, says Vicious. And then also the Bok, says Andre there as well. So there's going to be about a 10-minute break in between these two getting back out onto the field. But what is good news is we can get you guys the stats to do with who had more possession, the territory, the discipline, who was letting their side down. Let's say Argentina certainly haven't had a huge amount of discipline throughout the early stages. 3 tries for South Africa, so they're currently sitting with a bonus point. That is what they need to keep. And do you think they will be top of the league by the end of this game? From what we saw in that first half from Argentina, I think yes. Hopefully Argentina can at least get themselves a few more meters run, because they only had 23 meters carried throughout that first half compared to the Springboks, 175. 11 defenders beaten for the Boks, 2 for Argentina, 3 clean breaks for South Africa, and 1 for Argentina. So from reading that, you'd almost have to say South Africa may be disappointed to only be up by 16. Argentina, they've had 2 yellow cards. They've also had hardly any meters carried compared to South Africa, who have had that 175. No score for the Springboks. First of all, it was a penalty try. Then it was Jaden Hendrickse. And then also the next try for the Springboks was scored by, how have I forgotten it already? Who did score the other try? How have I forgotten? One moment, I'm going to have a look, see who actually scored. It's really bad that I've forgotten who scored it. Right, the try was scored by Jaden Hendrickse. Malcolm Marks off the rolling maul, of course, was the other try scorer. I feel like it's become such an accustomed feeling of knowing that he's going to score off a rolling maul. You kind of just blank out, I guess you could say, when he does end up and put out the ukulele or pull out the ukulele and guitar at halftime. So we'll bring it out in a short moment. But the tackles, we have seen 58 tackles made by Argentina compared to the 33 of South Africa. And then the penalties, we have seen 12 against the Argentines, 5 against the Pumas. 5 against the Springboks. And this one, don't forget, Argentina beat the All Blacks a few weeks ago, says Reno. And there as well, although the difference is they were not down by 16 points in that game up against the All Blacks. This might be just a bit too much of a mountain to climb for themselves. Right, Makazole Mapimbi's had 2 meters carried. So that doesn't actually put him any closer to being able to outrun any of the opposition in terms of the meters carried for the competition. Needs a little bit more of that ball. Jasper Vesa doing nicely though. 41 meters carried, 10 carries, 3 defenders beaten, and the 1 clean break in the process. Then the tackles, seen 8 from Juan Matan Gonzalez, 7 from Julia Montoya. And the most for the Springboks, it's actually Ludiacha was able to make a total of 6. And also be very careful now, South Africa, for the second half, said Adrian. And also we have got second half is going to be much more fun. The Bok is going to teach Pumas proper rugby, says Reiko. We need Willie to break the line, says Ruben. And who's the All Blacks, says Lady Lynn. And there, so they are New Zealand, I guess, if you don't know who they are. They are currently the team who word's the key word, because maybe they won't be at the end. They were sitting top of the table. Now, if South Africa win this game by 30 points and also get themselves the bonus point, then the All Blacks, they will move down to second. But for now, they have got themselves a place at the top of the Rugby Championship. Morning, Hamish, brother, says Betty V. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. And also 12:50 final score for the Box, says Vicious. And there as well, looking through at a couple of the other stats that we have seen, the penalties conceded have really been costing the Argentines. We've seen 3 against Pablo Matera, 2 against Thomas Lovanini, 2 against Marcos Crema, and then we've actually seen 2 against Franz Malharba in there as well for the South Africans. Also Mostert, Etzebeth, and Marks all given away the singular penalty. And also, when's the last time you did a braai? Well, we don't really have braais in New Zealand. We just have barbecues, which I know are very similar, but they're not quite the same. I got told off one time by a South African when I said they were almost kind of similar. They got very angry at me. But, I mean, the last time I had just a barbecue, it's probably a good 6 to 8 months ago, maybe. Probably around Christmas, to be fair. And also, we have got there pronounced Vicus. There, says the Vicus. And also, what was for breakfast? I haven't actually had my breakfast yet. Although, yesterday's breakfast, when I woke up, it was Weet-Bix. But that was about 18 hours ago that I did end up having the Weet-Bix. So I'll probably end up having Weet-Bix for tea tonight when I do end up waking up, as it is currently 8 a.m. here in New Zealand. And also, I bride just now, says Werner, and South Africans need to chill, says Lynn. And there as well. But I think the thing that's really going to change the second half for Argentina is they need to be willing to try and take on the Box, running the ball hard. And what's a kiwi, says Tian? It's a little tiny bird with a long beak and it can't fly. There you go. Or it's a type of fruit that's green and has brown seeds. And there's a bunch of South Africans in Auckland. They can teach you the dark art of braai. Says I don't also tell Willie LaRue to stop acting like he's going to tap the ball off the pin, says Zeke. And also, come on, Hamish, got to put the steak on the grill, says Reino. I think there is steak out there, so maybe some stage when I'm not up at a random hour. And Etzebeth made it through the first half okay, says Dr. Weakrist, although he has got a bit of an injury by the looks of it. Bit of a limp there. Can't believe it's already morning there by you, says Reino. Yeah, currently 8:07 a.m. Our first live stream that we did was... Our first live stream started at 4:30, but we were up at about 2. Hamish, say this, you're well, no fine. But on the other hand, Darren, says Pierre, and also maybe Kiwis should have load shedding as well. That way you'll learn how to braai, says Dan. I mean, it's a decent shout. Overall, you did have, I think the worst we've had is kind of like water, how you're only allowed to use so much out of the tap. And South African braai 8 times a month, says Ruben there. And also we have got there, is a Kiwi like a mini ostrich? Not quite. Think of maybe, how would you describe it? It's got a bigger beak than an ostrich, kind of like it's a lot longer, bit of a nose almost, I guess you could call it. Straight out. I'm trying to think of another animal that has it, or a bird that has it. And I can't think of one that's got it that long. Maybe a stilt, something like a stilt for the beak. And then for the legs, probably a little bit like maybe an owl, because they don't really have many legs. But then owls, if you lift them up, they actually do have legs. Fun fact. And then also they're just like a ball. And also there was a Nas Borta quote, says Pierre. And there, yeah, I think that one went straight over my head, didn't it? And also we have got there, I must say, since I joined this channel, your South African name pronunciation has improved a whole lot. Well done, brother, says Bertie V. And yeah, I broke our stove on purpose just so I can braai more. And also we have got on back, says Chad. Now, someone earlier on did want the guitar to come out. I did play it at the start of the match. We will do the same song as we did earlier on. And also they having you on, pretending not to know what a Kiwi is. Some people don't know what it is, because like they don't really bring too much to the table, the Kiwis, that is. Like the little birds. George said if he was Prime Minister, he would stop protecting the Kiwi because like they don't really do anything. Overall, here we go. There you go. I feel like that's the only song I can actually play kind of good. And what's your score prediction? I did go South Africa by 8 at the start of the match. I will be a man of my word and I'll stick with it, even though we're going to have to see something better in the second half from Argentina if they do want to keep it that close. And we haven't really seen too much as of yet. And also barbecues are good during load shedding. You don't need electricity, fire, brilliant. Says a roof. And enjoying the Kiwi accent commentary, says it Ruben. And there as well. And Kiwi is almost a brand of boot polish in England. And beautiful Hamish, says Reno. And the clapping from HP. A nice one, Hamish, says Jazz. And also, why is the channel name Kiwi Lads? Says Tiano. I assume you're referring to the fact that lads with an S when there is just one of me. There are actually 3 other lads. You don't get to see them too often because a lot of the time they don't get up for the middle of the night games. They also work during the weeks. So it is quite hard to get them all together. But there are 3 others who we have had on the channel in the past. Also, Pearl Jam, says Ruben, and also Brother Rock, mad respect for you, says David. And also, good job, says Chad. And there as well. But currently, I don't think we're too far away from the second half getting back underway. Do let me know your end score predictions now, ladies and gentlemen. After that first half that we have seen, certainly the Springboks had the better of it. I think they'll be, like I mentioned, a little bit disappointed to only be up by 16, which sounds like a weird statement, but they've had a really good chance being able to extend that. Argentina, they've made a lot of last-ditch tackles that have saved them. Listening in from Malta Go Bok, says Jenny there, and also 194 likes. Awesome stuff. Smash that like button and subscribe if you are new, says Birdie V. And also we have got, and the chat, finally load shedding is gone, says Moonstone. And congratulations to those whose electricity just came back, says Lynn there. And love the channel, says Dan. And also, I don't think the backs are going to get much ball time. Seems to be all forward so far. And Sir George is another Kiwi lad and is a legend in his own lunchtime, says Darren. And also, we have got 12 to 42 in favour of the South Africans and Springboks, 46 points to 18. And I'm going 59 for the Boks, 15 for Argentina, says Jolene. And also, I need data, please, says Lady Lynn. And Electric is back. So actually, perfect timing for the second half, by the sounds of it, for some of you guys. So hopefully you do really enjoy the second half. Hopefully it lives up to the expectations. And then also, fingers crossed that the Springboks can continue, score some extra points on the board just to manage to entertain the nation. But currently Argentina, they've got to go out there and they've got to do something different. They gave away 12 penalties in that first half. They had handling errors. They had less than 30 meters carried with the ball. That's normally what you see from one individual out there on the park, but they have combined it as a whole team to only have that many meters. And also we've got there, you remind me of Mark Knopfler. Are you related Kiwis of Swing? I haven't actually heard of him. Who else do you have data? Says Lynn, as in myself. I actually, fun fact, right when we started this YouTube channel, because of how slow my internet was at the time, I used to have to pay for like an unlimited data plan each day that I did want to live stream. I think it worked out to be about 10 New Zealand dollars a day just to be able to do the live streams. And then from there, we just continued doing that. Eventually, our internet got a little bit better. And now I only have to reset the modem 4 times each time I want to do a live stream, which is progress. And also, you deserve a commentary contract, not just Kiwi lads. We love you, says Reno. And can't imagine the electricity going off for no reason. Terrible, says Hanger at. And how much time is there until full time? We have got 40 minutes now in the second half. Do you know Dire Straits? I do indeed. Do I know any? No, I can't remember how to play Dire Straits. I did know a little bit of Sultans of Swing. And I was the front man of Dire Straits, says JC. And Wheatbix Forever, says David. But now the second half is just about to get underway. It will be Damien Valimza will be kicking us off for the second 40 of this contest. Willie LaRue looks like he's just getting a little bit of attention. At the moment, there's only 8 seconds, so whoever that was will want to very quickly make their way off the field. Nope, they've had to stop the clock, as they do have to make sure that they don't have 16 out on the field for the Springboks. There we go. They are back to 15. And also we have got there, a kickoff is a go. And also say hey to my mates in Hastings, says Ruben. And also if you need data, buy it, says Bruce. I guess good life advice, really, isn't it? Now, it's an awkward kick, and they haven't actually taken that one cleanly, but they waited for the bounce, and Pablo Matera able to clean it up now for the Pumas. They will have to kick this because they are only 5 minutes out from their load shedding on such a great game. And also, at least, we have people live stream it, says Jean-Pierre. Do you go by JP out of curiosity, Jean-Pierre? Because I know quite a few Jean-Pierres who go by JP. Do let me know if that is what you want me to call you, or whether or not you do prefer Jean-Pierre. Also, we have got the go box, says Kevin Jones. That one has found touch. Good kick downfield from Thomas Kubeli. They had to make the change of Lucio Cinti, just so that they did have that halfback option. And any listeners from Stillbay on here? And I was like, yes, I do, lol, says JP. And there as well. I guess is that quite common for South Africa? Because I remember in the game earlier on, it was the South African replacement number 16, wasn't it? Or no, JP Smith. I think it was JP Smith. And also the OnlyFans gaming show has the full game streaming, says Moonstone. And there as well. But now there's going to be a rolling maul here for the Springboks. Looks like it's going to start going a little bit towards the Pumas line. Still 40 meters out, though, but they will walk this distance if they need to for the Springboks. Now off to Damian Dialende. Good shot on him by Marcos Crema. Now back across Hendrickse. Goes to Valimza. Jesse Creel tries to fend. He's tackled hard by Matthias Orlando. Counter-ruck there from Argentina. They've been able to turn the ball over cleanly. Thomas Kubeli now off to Pablo Matera. Oh, then the whole Titas Chaparro in the midfield. Rush the fence from South Africa. Once again, anytime that ball slightly slips out the back of the ruck, the South Africans are just all over them. Now 40 meters out from their own line here. I hope they don't kick it, but they're going to. The stage, what's the odds for the South Africa Hamish? About 200 for the Boks win. Says it was Spider Mick. They won't be paying much at the moment, that is for sure. Now nicely taken by Emiliano Boffelli. Does wrestle down to ground, 40 meters out from the line. Argentina looking a lot more effective. Now it's going to be Pablo Matera trying to fend off Willie LaRue. Still available. The ball almost bounced out the side. It came off the foot. Now still just on the side of Argentina. Geez, they're making hard work of that. In the breakdown, Matera with the rough pass. It went low. And in the end, Thomas Lovanini just wasn't quite able to take it. JP Pretorius was a beast, says Ruben. And also, what's that? Or where's that sliding black bar with the try scorer? Says DJ. Yeah, it is actually missing for this one, isn't it? I haven't got the exact times that they did score them, but I can put it up down the bottom for you guys. One moment. We all go penalty, try, Hendrickse, and also Marks. There you go. Did I spell Hendrickse right? Maybe. Hopefully. There we go. Also, we've got there JP Peterson, says Tyrone. And also, it's hard to catch a pass at ankle height. That is very true. Wasn't the best pass on Pablo Matera there. So South Africa currently are paying $1.01 to win this game compared to the $18 that Argentina are sitting on. Once again, it's going to be a big scrum feed. Hendrickse goes back to Damian Valimza. Great cutout pass. And again, Moody tried to throw it on the inside. Jesse Creel look for the offload. And once again, it's going to be in the hands of Los Pumas. Going for a little bit of a banana kick. Knock on from Damian Valimza. Carreras. Going to be a great tackle made. But now Kubeli rushed the fence from Mostert. He knew that he had to try and get in there early to shut it down. Quick hands from Los Pumas. Damian Dialende. He's intercepted it now. He's got no pace. And he's tried to go over the top to Makazole Mapimpi, who doesn't get it. Marcos Crema catches it on the halfway line. Now Kitsov tries to get over it, and it's a penalty to South Africa. Well, that went a bit hectic for a bit there, didn't it? Everyone was just all over the place. Right, I would probably take Jesse Creel off the field because every time that man has touched the ball, something's gone wrong. That almost led to a try in favour of the Argentines when he did look for the offload. And also, did you watch boxing? Canelo versus GGG as later on today. I did actually watch, I think the last boxing event that we did actually cover on the channel for the Kiwi Lad Sport was Joshua versus Usyk. But I would like to watch that one. I'll probably be asleep at the time that it is taking place, though. And also, we have got the Guess You Must Love load shedding for your channel, says Fanus. And I mean, I always feel bad, though. I feel like, I always say it, if there's any way to watch the game, like, I'll let you guys know. If there's any, like, yeah, because I always feel bad if people aren't able to watch the game. Even though, in a weird way, it's our direct competition is the literal big brands. But I always say it, if there's an available source, go for it. Like, I won't get offended because at the end of the day, all we want to do is we all want to watch rugby. I sadly can't show it because I get in trouble. But you guys, if you have options, be sure to make the most of it. Thomas Kubeli now kicks the ball up high. Going to be going down to the halfway line. Makazole Mapimpi. Oh, he's just taking out the kneecap of his own teammate. Now Emiliano Boffelli chasing after this one. Grubbers it forward. It's going to be an awkward one. Sia Khaleesi. Oh, Jesse Carrillo has to plant it. And that is going to be now a goal line dropout. The Argentinians have come out with a little bit more fire in their step for the second half. It's great work down the wing by Emiliano Boffelli. Sia Khaleesi is staying down on his knee at the moment. I think after that big run, oh no, he's all right. He's seen that one of the other South African players is down currently. That was fun. Julia Montoya was complaining that South Africa was slowing it down, to which the referee replied, "You guys are making a sub. Look, 1 and 3 are about to come on the field." And he went, "Oh, sorry." Didn't see that one. Oh, there we go. That Dialende, can't he think? Says Moonstone. Our lungs are burning now after that play, says Cited. And also we have got them a Pimpy, says Fanus, and also Stain Forever. And what time is left? It is still plenty of time left on the clock. We are only sitting at around the 45-minute mark. In fact, a little bit later, I believe we're up to 47 minutes now. There we go. Exactly 47. It did just pop back up on the screen. Thomas Gallo out there on the field. That is for Nahul. Tita Chaparro. Now Argentina have got the ball on the halfway line after the goal line. Drive out Pablo Matera. Runs ahead of Ludiacha. Now 40 meters out. Kubeli recycles quickly. Now Argentina still playing with only 14 on the field. That was a rough pass, and it almost set up for Makazole Mapimpi. Seems to be that Mapimpi's a long way off his wing, though. Oh, penalty goes the way of the Springboks, just in through the side and off the feet. And also Mapimpi spring like a box. And also we have got there in the chat as well, and also give Stain game time. Are the Pumas coming alive and getting more ball position now, shaking things up? Says Roof. They have already, in the first 7 minutes of this half, had more meters carried than they had in the whole first half. And that's probably even doubled. They've probably had double what they had in the first half already. Now Damien Valimza will be kicking this one for the touchline, though, just straight in through the side, I believe it was, for Argentina. We're going to get to see the replay here. They just need some accurate passes. And unfortunately, every time that they try and get that back line going, there's just that little mistake. Either the pass doesn't go to hand, goes too far behind an individual. And that one there, just rushed it a little bit for Matthias Orlando. And Argentina only step up against the All Blacks, and that's it, says Troy B. Although they did all right up against Australia in their matches. Malcolm Marks throws it in, taken by Hetzebeff, recycled. Straight out the back now to Damian Dialende. He doesn't seem to have as much pace as he normally would. He's got back up to his feet there, though, so maybe Andre Esterhazen might not be too far off either. Now Malcolm Marks gets the rolling, going forward now 15 meters out. Hetzebeff inside ball to Ludiacha, and that is going to be accidental offside against the Springboks. And this New Zealand ref is shocking, eh, bro, Cooper? Says Nathan in there as well. Also, he sucks me, bro, says Cooper. Now, Carreras kicks it into touch. I believe that will almost be the time of the yellow card up now for the man who was at number 9, Berrano. I don't think they'll put him back out there, to be fair. I think they'll go with a back replacement and get Matthias Maroni out there on the field, because ever since Kubeli's made his way out there, it does seem to have a bit more of an attacking urgency. That's going to be nicely taken by Argentina. Now Pablo Matera lined up early by Malcolm Marks. Ball is available now. Thomas Kubeli goes back to Carreras. Once again, they are going for that kicking game of the Pumas, going up for a great take from Emiliano Boffelli. They make 20 metres with that kick. Now Kubeli fires it across to Thomas Gallo. He's an explosive talent, and he's got a great offloading game as well by the looks of it. Now Kubeli, 40 metres out from the line. Argentina trying to get themselves back into this. It's going to be a bit of a loose ball. Matthias Moroni does nicely, driven backwards by Kenan Moody. Back to the halfway line. Kubeli back across to the right. Gallo now going to Carreras. Short pass to Emiliano Boffelli. He's a long way off his wing. Now Khaleesi. They've said that the turnover is good. Did he keep his footing throughout that turnover? Probably the bigger question. Quite a few people have. Jesse Creel now. Like I mentioned, each time he tapped the ball, something's gone wrong. And by the looks of it, it is going to go right from that time. Hasn't been turned over. Whereas Khaleesi, says Ruben, that is actually one of the first times I've seen Khaleesi get involved in the breakdown for throughout this match. And how's it, Hamish? Says Peter Lowe, I hope you are having a very great time indeed watching this game. I'm enjoying it. Seems like it's going to be a game of two halves, perhaps, at the current point in time. Also, Springboks Rob says Morna, as in like in this game? Oh, Mapimpi going up for it, done beautifully to be able to take that one. Now Henriksen looking to pass it off. He gives it to Kitsoff. Probably looking for a player just a little bit quicker. Then gets a great body position for Julia Montoya. And he wins the penalty for Argentina. 51 minutes into this contest now. And also, what's the score? It is still sitting at 22 points to 6 in favour of the South Africans. And also, we have got there, if Bok try next, do a twerk image. Don't worry, nobody can see. Just you, me, and that scoreboard, says Potomek. And also, All Blacks will win the World Cup, says Morna. Don't know about that. They're not exactly in the best of form at the moment, the ABs. Only just getting past the Australians, losing to Argentina for the first time on New Zealand soil, losing to the Irish on the first time on New Zealand soil twice. And also about time the Pumas got a penalty, says Cooper Cronk. And also the game's got a long way to go, not over till the final whistle. Pumas bouncing back. Box stayed disciplined, Hamish. It's game of ping pong, says the Roof. Exactly right. And now just outside of the 22, Argentina once again going to have the attack flat pass off to Pablo Matera. Big number 8. Springboks are asking for a penalty of some sort. I'm not too sure what that was for, though. Now, Quacker Smith. Oh, penalty to the box. This time it is going to be the penalty. And Quacker Smith, he's only been on the field for approximately 7 seconds. Already winning the penalty in the breakdown. And Quacker is on some urgency and pace coming now and better momentum from Argentina, but no points. And New Zealand Legends, says Ruben there as well. But now Damien Valimza will be kicking this one for the touchline. Good strike of the ball from Valimza, getting a bit of extra distance on that one. I will mention anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is hugely appreciated you guys all being here for these live streams. We are going to be doing both matches next week as well of the Rugby Championship. So I do hope to see many of you there. Keep talking as well, says Nathan. All Blacks wins the 2023 World Cup. The world's gone quiet. Not too quiet. And Valimza has been exceptional. He seems to be, no matter where he is, whether he's fullback, whether he's fly half, he's got to be in that starting lineup each and every week with the way that he's playing. Malcolm Marks throws in, taken by Etzebeth. Hendrickson with a little knock on there. He didn't feel that it was one, but as being called as one by James Dolman. And please let old people play for the Springbok. Or they must let old people play for the Springbok, says Morna. And also, Pumas are great at making comebacks, but not happening tonight, I'm afraid, says Rob Roy. Yeah, 16 points might be a little bit too many, unless, of course, that's the thing. If they score now, get themselves a penalty, they're within 7. And what do you think about our ref, Hamish, says Spider Meek? I mean, he has blown quite a few penalties throughout this matchup, but he has been warning the Pumas that if they keep on infringing, he will end up giving away the penalties against them. Now, Thomas Kubeli waiting for that one at the back. It is Pablo Matera. It's going to be bouncing off the back. He's done very well to clean that up. That's been slapped out of his hands by Jaden Hendrickson. It's going to be play on. And Hendrickson needs to learn to play to the whistle. He's still a very young player, but standing in the middle of the field with your arms up like this, looking at the ref when they're making a line break, not the best strategy overall. Now, nice run from Matthias Orlando. Finds the offload up to Julio Montoya. Pablo Matera. Ball on the outside. Now, rush defense from Willie LaRue. Did it hit his hand? Will it count as a deliberate knockdown? No, it is just a knock on. Now, Thomas Lovanini runs hard. It kicks off. Franz Malherba playing juggling with that one, but it is going back for the initial knock on against Willie LaRue. Good morning, Kiwi lad. Says Ollie, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. 26 days until my birthday and be boring. No one wants to banter AB's fans. Let's pray and hope Wales win the Rugby World Cup 2023. There's Nathan there. There's good work from Argentina. They're starting to find that offloading game a little bit more. I'm just looking through for this Willie LaRue one. He was trying to make the tackle. He didn't have it extra extended, which is why it's just a knock-on rather than a deliberate knockdown against Willie LaRue. We've got another stoppage here. One of the Springboks. In fact, two of the Springboks are down at this point in time. They might be back up in a short moment or might be something a little bit more serious. It is always hard to tell. And also we have got there Dunky Lin and also Bok. And there as well says Aldrin. Apparently they are Sean Michael Checker. Hang on, Jesper Visa's gone off now for Heinrich Lowe, so maybe a bit of a reshuffle in their loose forward trio. Quagga Smith, he could play 7 if they need to, but Franco Mostert, you'd assume that he has possibly transitioned to lock now. Okay, Sia Khaleesi, he's all right. Yeah, he is. He's just having a chat with the trainers. Now, Thomas Kubeli about to put this ball in for the Pumas. 55 minutes gone in this match. And also we have got there, and it will be in the final between the All Blacks, says Morna. Well, the All Blacks, theoretically, 2 of these 4 sides that I'm about to list will be out at the quarterfinals. Ireland, France, New Zealand, South Africa. So those are some massive teams to be knocked out early in the competition. Definitely when you compare it to the other side of the draw, which is nowhere near as deep in the depth. And the players, nice ball on the backside. Now Matthias Orlando going forward nicely. Makazole Mapipi right next to the breakdown. Now Santiago Carreras tries to spin. He's going to be tackled out by Marco van Staden, the man who has just made his way into the side and unfortunately has just given away the penalty for not releasing on the ground. It's going to be another advantage for the Pumas. Now Carreras runs it hard. Okay, they have actually said that it is a deliberate knock-on, I believe, by Cannon Moody. They may go back to check that one soon. Another offload made by the Pumas. Julio Montoya has to jump on it. Now going through, out to the short side. This is looking decent now for the Pumas. Moving up to the 22-meter line. Orlando tries to spin just a little bit further down the field. Kubeli goes short to Gallo. I believe they are still playing under penalty advantage. Now Kubeli tries to snipe. Wrestled down by Mostert. They are back to 15 as well, I should mention, for the Argentinians. So we'll be at no disadvantage there. It's going to be another penalty advantage for not releasing. Now back, Juan Cruz Malea breaking the line there. Carreras just needed a man on his outside for the offload, or in the inside, sorry. Now Matera, short side. It's a drop ball by Orlando, but they're going back for the penalty. Hello from Zambia. Thanks for the live stream. Box win by 30. They'll be on top of the log. They certainly will, Yako. That will be exactly what they will be looking for. Exciting stage in the game. This is becoming an interesting match. I hope the box relights the fire under them. And also we have got their Pumas forwards need to communicate. They're all over the place at the moment. Vamos Pumas, says Nathan. It seems like maybe at halftime they were told just keep the ball alive. Don't go to ground because we know how strong some of those guys are for South Africa, whether it's going to be Quagga Smith, whether it is Sia Khaleesi, Malcolm Marks. All those guys are just on the ball instantly. Boom. They've got the turnover. So that is why they need to try and shut that down. But it does seem like now South Africa getting warned about the discipline that they have had throughout the last little while. But Julio Montoya going to be throwing this ball in now for Argentina. They are going to be 5 meters out from the line and a good attacking opportunity for Los Pumas in front of a home crowd. Goes into Pablo. And that is Pablo Matera close to the touchline currently. Looks like they'll just be able to keep this one in the field of play. It's at the back for Thomas Gallo looking for the rolling ball. Thomas Kubeli now getting shut down. Gallo does well to keep it in the field of play. Kubeli held up by Malcolm Marks, wrestled down by Quagga Smith. They do have to release him now. Still 15 out from the line. It could seem like a very long way for the Argentines. Pablo Matera, that one slipped out of his hands. In fact, that one was Martin Gonzalez. Now back across. will be the number 18, Joel Scalavi. Amatera Ebenezer jumps in. That one's going to hit the referee. So unfortunately for the Pumas, it is now going to be a scrum fee for them and in their favour. And also we have got their, what's the possession percentage? So in the first half, it was about 60% in favour of the Springboks. Now it is, one moment, it's going to load, 56% in favour of the Springboks and 44 for the Pumas. In this one, although this not the real team South Africa, they working to create one, says Badamik, and also we have a really nice game, Bok, says Herzog, and at Bok by at least 3 more tries, says Eddie. And like I mentioned, even if they aren't able to get themselves the massive total of 30 points to get into the lead overall for the Rugby Championship, as long as they get close, then all the pressure is then put back on New Zealand, because they will need a big win up against Australia to then try and confirm their spot as number one. We know South Africa are going to come out firing in South Africa. And Shot Brother says David. And yeah, but it is going to be a change made for the Springboks. That time it was Trevor Nakanye made his way onto the field now. And the propping department now back across Carrera's short ball off to Geronimo De La Fuente. Going short side, Carrera's rush defense from Cannon Moody. He was too quick though. And it is going to be another penalty advantage in favour of the Pumas. Khaleesi chopping out the knee like it was a tree. Now Kubeli goes off to Julian Montoya. Once again, Kubeli goes across to Thomas Lovanini. Nice carry forward, 5 out now. Kubeli goes back to Carreras. Just doesn't quite link up, or Felly has to clean it up. In fact, it's Juan Mata Gonzalez, a man who has scored 3 tries throughout this competition so far. Now it is going to be a forward pass twice, and they are coming back for the penalty now. And a double blow of the whistle. I think Cannon Moody may get himself a yellow card here. I think he might have been a bit too quick off the mark. No, this is now the official. No, it's not the official warning. It is going to be Cannon Moody going. Hang on, 15. Might be Willie LaRue. 15, clearly offside, bringing it down into 22. Willie LaRue is going to be off the field for the next 10 minutes. And also one of the back weights between South Africa and the Pumas. So South Africa were weighing in at about 919, or actually 909 kgs, I believe it was, for the Springboks. And the Pumas were about 873 from memory, somewhere around that mark. All right, guys, says Cornet. And there's our welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. And also, we need 14 more points to move to the top of the log. Go, Bok, you can do it, says Ed. And Shuman Bok, get on it, or get it on. Here's Lady Lynn. And it's the truth. All Blacks is going to take this cup. That's a fact, says Jacobus. Although, if Argentina can get this one, if South Africa can get this one by about 15 points or so, then all they need is South Africa to give the All Blacks a real tough game at Eden Park, maybe a 5-point difference, and then South Africa get themselves a 20-point win in South Africa. That would be the Rugby Championship for the Boks. Also, we have got there in the chat, my man Trev is on as well, says cited in Kiwi Lad. What was the reason for the penalty against Australia? I'm still confused, says Johnny. So pretty much it was a free kick, because you do have 30 seconds to be able to take a kick, either to kick it into touch or to do the scrum, or the scrum's a little bit different. Kick it into touch, though, you've got 30 seconds. They did take 34, so they did end up giving the free kick away. They won, but yeah, it was a rough one. We haven't really seen it too much. The top 14, you see it a little bit more. Pablo Matera now breaking off the back. That was a forward pass. It's gone straight to Damian Dialende. So the mistake there from Argentina, like someone mentioned a bit earlier on, their forwards just seem to be a little bit too scrambled at times. Cannon Moody kicks it in behind. He's going to have plenty of pace here, but it sits up nicely. Juan Cruz Malia going down the wing. Faf de Klerk misses a tackle. Now Kubeli, short ball. This is where Argentina are their most dangerous, but they've dropped it again. Now the scrum feed. Oh, bit of a wrestle there from Lovanini and also Mostert. They're having a bit of a roll there, and okay, it looks like Franco Mostert at the moment is in side control for anyone who knows their mixed martial arts. And a little bit of a roll around. And in the end, Lovanini, he's out back up to his feet by Mostert. They say, yep, good grapple, mate. And we will go back. So, and have you had your breakfast, mate? Not for this morning. I had my breakfast yesterday when I did end up waking up. We have currently been up for about 18 or 19 hours or so. So, yeah, it's probably tea time coming up sooner rather than the breakfast. And ARDA, says Scrum, welcome in. Hope you are doing very well. Currently, Springboks still 16 points ahead, but seems like the momentum slowly keeps on shifting. But the Pumas have been unable to get those extra points on the board that they do require. And tough competition for the Boks with regards to winning the championship. Zealand, and also, do I have to repeat myself? New Zealand will never win the World Cup unless changes, says Spider-Mek. Now scrum feed for South Africa on the halfway line. Currently 18 minutes left in this contest. The yellow card against South Africa, that was for Willie LaRue. They've got 14 out on the field. I see that. It will be the big man, Heinrich Lowe, locking in at the back. He's actually number 8. And also, what is tea time? So pretty much dinner. I guess depending on where you are in the world, it's pretty much like your nighttime meal. You know, the biggest meal of is it the biggest meal of the day? That's a massive win for Argentina at the scrum feed. And that's going to be the penalty now in favor of Argentina. And also, we were going to mess that scrum up. They certainly did. And also, this is going to be the full-time score, 6 points to 22. And then South Africa need to score more tries. Otherwise, they're out of the competition, says Lynn. And that's the thing. I mentioned it a couple of times. If Argentina can get themselves one try in this one converted, they are only 8 points or so behind. In fact, that'd actually be 10 points behind, wouldn't they? Or somewhere around there. 9 points. My brain's not quite working, seeing as it is quite deep into the night. 13. Yeah, no, they'd be a total of 9 points behind. But the Boks need to shift the momentum now, says Reno. So they've made all of their subs almost, other than Dion Fori. I see that he is not out there on the field. And also Andre Esterhuizen. They've hesitated to bring him out there. I would have thought he would be a good option for either Creel or Damien Dialende. Neither of them have had the greatest game ever. Was one nicely taken. Now Pablo Matera goes across to Kubeli. Nice pass. Quick backline here from Argentina. Some silky skills. Running wide, but it's great defense from Makazole Mapimpi. Had enough base to be able to cover it. Great hands from Pablo Matera because that was a rough pass from Tomas Kubeli. Now back again across Carreras. Now goes one more. Juan Cruz Malia tries to break through. Another offload from De La Fuente. Wide cut out past the Juan Cruz Malia. Oh, sorry, that's actually Juan Matan Gonzalez. 10 meters out. Kubeli goes to Crema. Good face play from the Pumas. Moving up to 5 phases now. Oh, that's obstruction, though. Oh, and Lovanini's been hit hard. It's actually going to be him staying down for a little while. I don't know what they're actually asking for there, but it's going to be the penalty for the Springboks. I believe it's for obstruction here. Hang on. It's a tackle off the ball in favor of the Pumas. So this might actually become another card. There was a tackle off the ball. No, it is just going to be the penalty. And also, Hamish, you ever thought of installing the button that you push when with a try or conversion? And we hear a crowd going crazy, says Reiko. It's an idea. Maybe we'll have to try and get one of those. You can get those little celebratory buttons, can't you? Okay, he was tackled off the ball by Quaka Smith there. And also, who will be top of the log after this game? So the Springboks need to win this game by 30 to get themselves to first. Okay, Quaka Smith was asking, he said that initially he wasn't really the best option to carry that ball. He was quite far ahead for that one. But the Pumas, they do get themselves another penalty. Okay, they did actually check that one, and they did say he was running a separate line. And critical scrum coming for the Boks. And go Quaka. And then I'm an Aussie. My dad is 88 years old. He's listening with me. Played for the South Sydney Rabbitohs in the 1950s. Great stuff. Says Damien McWilliams. Geez, the Rabbitohs in the 1950s. It's probably changed quite a bit in the league side of things. But I believe the Rabbitohs got themselves the win recently, didn't they? In the playoff game. So they will be further on in the NRL competition. So maybe we'll be able to get themselves through to the finals as well. Was it the shoulders? Says Nathan. Or it's kind of around this region, around the chest area. And how many games left after this, says Cameron. So 1 game left of the Rugby Championship for both teams in this match. And they are going to be playing in South Africa. Bonus point win is crucial for either team from here on. 21 trying to get involved. It's off the back. Pablo Matera starts the drive. Now this should surely be a try. No, great defense from Jesse Creel. And now Dion Fori tries to get in and get the turnover. Pablo Matera, it's going to be another advantage against the Springboks. The discipline in this game has been pretty poor from both sides. That looks like a serious injury for Damien Dialende. This is not good because that is the last player that the Springboks would have wanted to see get injured here. On a bit of a push and a shove there. Damien Dialende still pushing with Gallo. Damien Valimza, what is this injury extent? It looks like they're holding his neck. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. What time is it in Argentina? I believe at the moment in Argentina it will be a nice afternoon game, I believe. But I could be wrong there with the time zones. As I come on the block, take that jersey in, you look scruffy. Says Badamik and also France and another northern team. And he only played one first game or grade game. Clive Churchill was fullback. They was playing inside centre. And discipline, says Morris. Yeah, at the moment, both sides have been lacking it. Throughout this match, in the first half, it was all Argentina for the penalties against them. Now, we're seeing a lot more penalties. Oh, Damien Valimza, I think, got knocked out there. He got the head on the wrong side and kind of flopped down. He's not playing in the next game, I can tell you right now. He got Pablo Matera's elbow in his tackle technique. He was knocked out. And that's going to be a big... Who do they play at 10 now? I guess Franz Stein will move in there, maybe, as the option for the final game. And defend box, says Corney. And also lots of rugby this weekend. It's been zero discipline, and you should have watched or seen the Wasp Bears game. It's Clown College. Says, I almost said Sebastian, but Scrumless. And then also, come on, Pumas, score one try, says Nathan. So straight away, the Pumas coach was going like this. He was saying he's done. That is not good news. And staying at 10, please. No, Valimza is out. Yeah, a massive hit. You have to say the informed player. The fight is just about to start. Says Katema there. Julio Montoya taking off the field. Augustine Crevi, a man who always shows a huge amount of passion. And that 6-2 split is about to be tested now. Says Thiabo. And also, where are they staying? Where are you? Says David. And why have the Bok lost their dynamism? And the South African commentators are a disgrace. No wonder the African supporters think refs are all conspiring against them. They make awful calls, says Sam Beckinsale. And I assume that is for the one of Quagga Smith that they were saying that there was no way that it should have been a penalty. And then the TMO checked it and it should have been. Maybe, and Box need to score. It's been Argentina all the way, says Betty V. And also disappointing to hear for Valimza, says Fabian. Yeah, I would say one of the best players for South Africa throughout this whole competition. Okay, they're asking for the discipline to improve. Edmund has said Argentina to win. Who knows? At the moment, they've had all the possession. And this afternoon, tomorrow, apparently an article is coming out claiming a number of South Africa players have failed drug tests. Says Sam, although we have seen rumours like that starting every few years. And I feel like it's one of those ones that until you actually see the proof, it's probably, it's just a rumour at this stage. And also we have got the another try, South Africa. Oh, okay, Stephen Kitsoff and Augustine Crevi having a nice handshake in the front row. How much time is left? Says Twix, currently there is 15 minutes left on the clock for this contest. So it's a close one between the sides. And correct, tell them, brother, says David Simon White there. And also 229, well done, guys. Smash that like button and subscribe if you are new. Yeah, anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is hugely appreciated for you guys all being here in this matchup. Thomas Kubeli, 5 meters out the scrum once again. It is going to be for Los Pumas. Can they get over the try line for what would be actually the first time in this one? Big push from the Pumas. Front row pops up of Malcolm Marks, and now they've got the advantage. Thomas Kubeli snipes on the short side. 1 meter short now, almost driving over. I think the Pumas, they've been able to hold him up. That is actually great work from the Springboks. They didn't want another couple phases in there. And Bok, don't lose momentum, please. I think they lost it about maybe 15 minutes ago. It's just the fact that they haven't been able to break them here, the Pumas. Even though there has been so much position for Argentina. Great tackle by Faf de Klerk. Then Quagga Smith. Actually really strategic of Quagga Smith. Rolled him over to the back so that he knew that he'd get him held up. And also, we got Hamish, can you make it sound? Sounding like a crowd cheering, says Reiko. I think I could. I think they want to check this one. Right, what are they checking here? for Quagga Smith. I think they want to see whether or not number 20 Gold. Oh, it's round the head. It's round the head of Quagga Smith. It's gone round the neck of Thomas Kubeli here. It's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this, because I think they're trying to say that it could have been a chance of... Oh, this is going to be a bit cool. Any yellow or red card yet, Hamish? We've had 2 yellows, 1 for each side. In fact, sorry, 3 yellows. A nice tackle, South Africa keep on the defence, keep them away from the try line. So, okay. Initially, there's a tackle. Then there's a slip. But the player then doesn't let go and there's a twist. Well, I think there's going to be a twist in this match as well. I don't know what this is going to be. I have no idea what this is going to be. This could be a yellow against Quagga Smith. This could just be a penalty advantage and going back for the penalty. The crowd are cheering each time that it happens because he did get him round there. This is going to be an interesting one. And also we have got there, is there another one coming? There could be another yellow card right now. And also we have got there, go Bok, says Steph there, and controversial decision coming. Yeah, whether this is a try, no try, a yellow card, no yellow card, there's going to be a lot of talking points about this moment in the contest and the way that it shifts the momentum. Now, Quagga Smith, that is high, yes. But has he stopped them from being able to propel himself forward? Okay, I think this is going to be a yellow card for Quagga Smith. For the rip after the initial tackle, it's a bit high. You've stopped him from reaching out and scoring a try. It's a yellow card and a penalty try now for Argentina. They're back in the contest, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a hectic final 15 minutes. I can't believe we've still got 15 minutes left of this game. The Pumas get themselves the penalty try, and now this game heats up a little bit more. All momentum has now gone in favour of Los Pumas, the home side. No man, says Fabian. Penalty try, no way. Says Reno there. And what's the actual time? So currently, for me, it is 66 minutes and 2 seconds. The States rest destroying the game. Again, well done, says Moonstone. And sheesh, says Carlin. And playing in Argentina is never easy, says Peter Lowe. And penalty try. Says Edmund and Box need to score for the points. And 2 men down, says Yabo. You're playing like a rugby league side at the moment with 13 men out on the park. Now Carreras kicks it deep. They haven't got a Willie LaRue and they haven't got a Quagga Smith at this point in time. Now, currently, the difference is only 9 points between the two sides. Fluff de Klerk chasing after that one hard. It's going to be taken nicely, and it's going to be a mark as well. In fact, it's going to become a penalty in favour of Argentina. Oh, Carreras has gone down. I think he's got a bit of cramp. Augustine Creve is going to stretch out the hammies. And the cast from a Springbok play like this, All Blacks are going to win for sure. Bok look chaotic at the moment, lost the plot. They had such a good first half, though. And it's weird because it all went right until it didn't, if that makes sense. They were 22 points to 6 up at halftime. Now with that penalty try going the way of the Pumas, it has now just updated to 13 points to 22. And also, it is a messy game, not proud, says Steph there. And South Africa, please play in their half, says Morris. Yeah, a lot of possession for the Pumas in the second half, but Faf de Klerk tackling Carreras in the air. So that is why the penalty was going that way. And 13 box on now. They have got 13 out there on the park. So both sides have had 2 yellow cards throughout this match. The Pumas, I guess more strategically, had 2 yellow cards at separate times throughout the contest. So they didn't end up getting themselves in too much trouble, other than the fact that they actually scored 19 points when one of them were off the field. Augustine Crevi throws it into the front. Now Kubeli goes across nicely. Short ball up to Marcos Crema. Playing with 13 men on the field. The thing is, the Springboks, they would have trained for this, of course, But in a game where there is quite a bit of tension, that looked pretty flat, looked almost forward, and it could be the try here. Oh no, he slammed it down. He's dropped it. Matthias Maroni has not scored that one. He's going like this. I don't think he's got it. They've also got to check that full pass that was from earlier on, as I believe it was one. But they want to check it. I know that someone wanted crowd noise, didn't they? So it's a bit loud. We won't do that again until we know exactly how loud it's going to turn out. A good defense, says Fabian. And try coming for the Pumas. Box becoming lazy again. And don't underestimate the Box, guys. We've come a long way, says David. Right. This pass for me from Marcos Crema to the number 23, Matthias Maroni, was forward. Actually, that's actually good from this angle. And now it's the case of, did he slam it down or did he drop it over the line? And I'll say he dropped the ball in front of the line. Right, we're going to see this one again. No, that's forward. From that angle, for me, that is forward. The other angle, it looked a little bit better. Wait, they're saying it's fine. Okay, never mind. I guess I don't know whether or not it is. I guess if it's from one angle, it looks all right. The other, it doesn't. That's nothing wrong with the grounding. I think this is going to be a try for the Pumas again. It's the momentum is shifting. In this contest, it's awarded as a try. I still think Crema's one was relatively flat, maybe slightly forward. And also 20-22. The way RG's goes deserve the win. The officials have too much impact on the game, stopping matches for reviews, not allowing teams to gather momentum, says Joe Webby. And no man, says Fabian. So that is now, hang on. What we got now? He's kicked the conversion. It's now 20 points to 22. But now I think the referee or the TMO wants to have another look at it. Is that what I just heard? And we get time off, please. James Dolman has asked for what is going on here. Says Ethan, this is absolutely insane. I thought the game between New Zealand and Australia had some big decisions. They want to check this one to make sure that there is clear grounding. That slam down, that is a try. I thought he dropped it. What now again? Says Fabian. Oh, good Lord, says Scrumless. It has been a great rugby championship this far. Oh, I'll stick with the on-field decision of try. They've got no separation. I'm sorry, but if you're going to check that, you've got to check it before the man's taken the conversion. Because what happens if there was separation? You're going to say, right, those conversion points don't count. We're going to go back. It seems like there's some big calls being made. And this would be scandalous should they overturn it, says Thiago. Exactly right. You can't award a try, let the guy kick the two, and then say, hang on. Actually, we'll take those back just for a second. And now it's going to be Thomas. Gubelli puts it on. And what is going wrong now? First half sloppy, but result showed, says Steph. Who's the ref and where is he from, says Louis. It is James Dolman. He's from New Zealand, which, of course, I'm from New Zealand as well. So that's not good. Of course, I don't assign the refs. That's another penalty to Argentina. Oh, my goodness. That seems like... I'm almost lost for words at the moment. There's so much happening out there on the park. I noticed when the Bok drop their guard, they don't rise again. Mental strength lacking. And gosh, the Pumas done well considering all their unforced errors. And also this game has just fallen apart. What's happened to the integrity of rugby, says his name. And also I signed the refs, says Champagne Lord. And also let's go, says Nathan. Yeah, with how long this game has taken, I'm actually going to have to delay our next live stream. We were going to be doing our post-match review. Boy, we're going to have to go for 2 hours for that post-match review of this one. Yeah, we're going to delay it to 9:15. There we go. I've delayed it just a little bit. The Pumas crowd, they are certainly getting behind their home side now, though. Bad tackling, watch yourself block. Can't afford to lose players to yellow cards or red cards. And there, and 1 more minute, and we'll have 14 men in. South Africa are imploding, says Carlin. Now currently on the 22, the line out for Argentina. And Box are rattled. This type of refereeing is utterly unprofessional. Says stand there and go to sleep. Says crazy NZ. It's going to be shameful with the Box lose. Says Lady Lynn. It's going to be thrown in. Nicely taken at the front by Argentina. Well sacked by the Springboks. Now the ball almost available for the turnover. Great counter ruck. But Thomas Kubeli, he has done absolutely sensationally to keep that one on the side of the Pumas. Although that's almost going to be a turnover. Yes, it is. The turnover is clean. And the Boks have got the ball back. Now Malcolm Marks deep inside of their own territory here, 22 metres out from their line. It looks like Faf de Klerk is going to have to go for the box kick. The lack of regulation from refs from World Rugby is making rugby difficult to take seriously as an actual sport. His username and also Hamish Cheers says Reiko and where's Rassi? Says Eddie. Now it's going to be a nice run from Santiago Carrera. Shut down very quick. We've got Eben Etzebeth straight on the ball. Brilliant work from the South Africans. And that is going to be Marius Lowe who wins the penalty. Right, this is too far out to be able to kick. Seems to have fallen apart since Damien Valimza went off the field, but also since the penalties have been conceded. We've had 29 penalties throughout this match, 13 against the Springboks, 16 against the Pumas. So the Pumas had already given away 12 at halftime. Poor performance by everyone. At this rate, the Boks deserve nothing. Says Yanni Meyer has been an Argentinian second. Yeah, game of two halves, definitely. And correct the score on your screen. Yeah, they're a little bit behind, aren't they? There we go. Has now updated. 22 metres out with 8 minutes on the clock. The Boks have got another chance. And also we'll get there with the Hellboys. Play the ball there. There's plenty of time left to make things right, says Herzog. So now there is no bonus point for the Springboks at this point in time. The Pumas would get a bonus point for the losing bonus point here. Marks throws it in. Nicely taken by Eben Etzebeth. Now 25 metres out. The Pumas, the thing is, once they start gaining this kind of momentum, it is very hard to shut down because they just get so excited. Although how do you shut down a rolling maul like that? From Malcolm Marks, it's going to be another advantage in favour of the Boks. Now Frans Steyn goes for the cross kick. Nothing on there. And it's gone straight for Juan Cruz Malia. Also, we have got there Pumas on a rage this season. Says Nate Dogg. And also Argentina was slapped in the changing room at halftime. Says Ruben, yeah, they're certainly fired up to a whole new level for the second half. Now Frans Steyn. What does South Africa do here? They are going to kick for the corner once again. Does make sure that that ball goes out. And now a 5 metre line out. This is the chance for South Africa to right those wrongs that they have had over the last 5 to 10 minutes. In fact, over the last 15 to 20 minutes. Come on, Francois Steyn. And the chat as well. Okay, I just heard it's coming to you for Malcolm Marks from Oxnashest. So you would assume here that there's going to be a little bit of a set play. That was a little bit too early, I thought, from Argentina. Could have been an advantage. They've been able to drag it down very nicely. Now Malcolm Marks goes off the back. James Dolman gets involved, gets a bit of a shot on the ribcage. I mean, I don't think he's going to be able to tackle Malcolm Marks. That is for sure. Now the Pumas, they are going to have to defend with their lives because they are only 3 metres out from their line advantage to the Boks. Now nice ball off to Trevor Nakanye. Only just short. Once again, phase after phase with the advantage in hand as well for the Springboks. I think they're going to use some of their big forwards. Where is Andre Esterhuizen as well, by the way? Hasn't had the chance yet. They've still got Damien de Lende. And he's almost, did he get it down or did he drop it? They've called it as a try for Damien de Lende. Well, just like that, de Lende, they have been able to get it back. The ball did end up coming free, but I believe it was after he managed to put the ball down. Or was it? They just want to check this one here for Damien de Lende. Sees the white line. Sees the white line. Oh, just manages to get it down. Augustin Crevi tried to kick it out of his hands there. Wasn't successful in the process. I've just realized I don't remember who scored the other try for the Argentinians. So I'll just give it to Matthias Orlando. He seems like a decent bloke. That's how it works, isn't it? And de Lende try. So those are the first points for the Springboks in the second half. And now 29 points to 20. They are now looking to extend one more try. Will give them the winning bonus point. Once again, it's back on the cards for the Springboks. Argentina, they do not want this game to be over for them just yet. If they can get themselves a turnover now, trying to get out of the breakdown. He's done well, and then the other ball fairly get out of there. And also, we have got the crazy how a game can change now. Abiding finish, says Ruth. And thank God, says Edmund. So you'd like to think with 4 minutes and a half left on the clock, it should be enough time for the Boks to keep the lead. It's just a question of how much do they end up winning this game by now. Will it be by 2? Will it be by 9? Will it be by 15? Probably not 15. Will it be by 17? It's probably a more realistic one in the Bok. He may have no pace, but he certainly has strength. That Damien de Lende. But I'm still looking around. Has Jesse Krill gone off the field for Andre Esterhuizen, or are they not giving Esterhuizen much of a chance at all out there on the park? I nearly passed out, says Lynn. And there. Now Augustine Crevi on the halfway line. Throwing the ball in. It's a messed up line out. Kicked forward from Uda Paletta, but he was tackled without the ball. He is claiming anyway. Now, nice work from Argentina, almost getting the turnover, but still stays on the side of the box. They will be taking nothing less than a bonus point win here for the Springboks, but they'll probably just claim a win at this point, to be fair, with the way that the second half has been going. Nicely taken there by Juan Cruz Malia. Oh, Jesse Krill now off the field for Andre Esterhuizen, so he gets 3 minutes at the end of the contest. So he's a bit rough, seeing as, Jesse Krill throughout a majority of this game has been subpar, I thought. Oh, picked up and dropped there. It's going to be now almost an advantage. No, James Dolman decides against giving the advantage there for that one. Now a nice drive once again for the Pumas. Short ball after Emiliano Boffelli finds the offload now. Flicked out the back. Silky skills from Argentina on the halfway line now. Continuing to make their way forward. Rapaleta almost threw an interception pass, but it is still going to be on the side of Los Pumas. The ball's being dropped. And now with 3 minutes left on the clock, the Pumas, they will have to try and make sure that they don't concede that bonus point to the Springboks here. And Krill useless, says Frank. And after the New Zealand-Australia game, I'm not holding my breath for anything. The Pumas could score 2 tries from here, says Thiabo. And is it a bonus point win or a bonus point for the Boks? Not at this stage. They need one more try. Oh, no. Tipped up onto his back. Now, if they're being consistent, that is a yellow card, unfortunately, against Frans Steyn. Oh, no, sorry. I got that around the wrong way. Penalty only. Goes the way of the Springboks. Mistake from Frans Steyn. That's the kind of thing you can't afford to be doing when you are in such a tight contest and you need a bonus point win. Just tips him onto his back. And like the commentators are saying, no need for that from Frans Steyn. And Bok not long to go, guys. That's what the beautiful European ancestry girls from Argentina. Says you're going to go there. And Yankees is in a bed and breakfast. And also, come on, boys. It's gone in. Pablo Matera takes it nicely. Still 2.5 minutes left on the clock. Sorry, I almost said schlock, but that's not a word. Now, Cubelli goes nicely on the inside. Ura Paletta. Good shot on him. Cubelli now going short side. Juan Cruz Malia continuing to attack. Great work from Dion Fori. It's bounced out and it's going to be back on the side of Argentina. Now it's a penalty against Marcos Crema. What's he doing? He's just he tried to become a Springbok. You might as well give him a kit. Now he's riding Fuff the Clerk. Interesting. Also, we have got there's Quagga Smith back. He is now. Penalties conceded. We have seen 33 penalties throughout this game. And whereas the crowd cheers over, says, Reiko, we are going to work on them. We'll have to work out the volume that we do need for them. But nice inside ball. It's a big shot from Francois Steyn there. The crowd, they are trying to say that maybe. Oh, it was high against Franco Mostert. They're going to go back and check this one. It's not around the neck. It's not above the shoulders for me, as the comment from James Dolman. So it will be play on. And his thoughts on Finn Adair's breaking into the Ireland team. I haven't actually heard of the name before, but I will have to keep an eye on him. I believe, was he in the under-26 nations? Is he one of the players in there? And also Van der Vesterhuizen says Sergio currently still going to be on the side of the box. 1 minute left and still the chance for the bonus point. It's going to be now almost won by Augustine Crevi. Now de Klerk goes back across to Oxnashire. The Pumas, they'll be keen to get themselves a bonus point in this contest as well, and trying to bring younger players to the Springboks. Now Fuff de Klerk back across now. Andre Esterhuizen, his first carry, breaks through a tackle. Gets a bit further forward. De Klerk now out to Oxnashire. Malcolm Marks on the outside. Dion Fori now to Makazole Mapimpi. Malcolm Marks, great handling. And is it the try at the end of the game? Sounds like it. Malcolm Marks scores in the final moment. That will be the bonus point for South Africa. I assume if it's like the rest of the decisions in this game, they're probably going to go upstairs just to check that there was nothing that could have been. Oh, Dion Fori is not very happy there. Thomas Gallo, I think there are about to be hands thrown between those two. Malcolm Marx doing well. Anyone else in that position may have dropped that ball, but Malcolm Marx sticks to his hands like it's some sort of sticky glue, maybe a glue stick involved. Probably not. I was trying to think of something that was sticky, and I could only think of glue. Malcolm Marx scores it. So the match-winning try, as they've called it, for Malcolm Marx. And that is going to be the bonus point win for the Boks. How much time left? A stick. Says it was even. And also, I actually remember the highest penalty given. I know that this is going to be up there. And Marx is the best in the world. There will be time left for one more kickoff, they have said. So Argentina can still try and cancel out that point that they just got. We are about to see what happens here with the kick. Game 6 is going to be so exciting. It's going to be exciting only if they could be played around about the same time. Franz Stein drifts it. That's an extra 2 points. And now that will actually be the end of the game. They don't have time for another one. So the Springboks, they win it by 16 in the end. 36 points for the Springboks and 20 to Argentina. You have to say the way that Argentina fought back in that second half, it did look unlikely that the Boks were going to be able to extend to that bonus point, but they finally found their footing. Took them 35 minutes in that second half, but they got there. In the end, highest penalty given. Score is so low. Says the Garbo, and well done, our Boks. I knew we would make it well done, guys, says Naton. And also, even though the Boks won, they're going to need to straighten out. Says the Lady Lynn in there, well done, the Boks. And also, we have got there, and they did have a win with a bonus point. They did indeed. So now they will move themselves just a little bit more up in the rankings. They will move up to 14 points alongside the All Blacks. The points differential getting it up another 16. So they move up to a points differential of plus 28. So they are going to need to, whatever happens in their next game, either the All Blacks, if they get themselves a bonus point win, the Springboks will have to match that plus get an extra about 14 points on the board in the process as well. But nonetheless, what we will be doing is we will be transferring over to our next live stream. That is our post-match review that we are going to be doing. It will be a live one. Thank you for the commentary. Sleep well, says Evan Snowman. And then also we have got there, good work, Hamish. Cheers, mate. And also we have got Hamish, you've been brilliant. Thank you, says David. I do appreciate that a lot. We've got plenty more coming. Next weekend, we are going to be back for the deciding matches, which is going to be absolutely massive. Although, and also, thanks, mate. You're developing into a great commentator, says Yanni Moore. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciate it. And also, thank you for the commentary. Really enjoyed myself, says Rob. So, yeah, hopefully we do get to see some of you guys back for next week. We are going to be covering the URC on the channel as well. Super Rugby when it comes around. All of the November internationals. The Women's World Cup. We are hoping to do a couple of the games of that contest as well. So, be sure to stay tuned for that. If you do want to be able to watch these games live when they do come around next week, do recommend checking out that pinned comment. It is for a VPN. You can get that, set yourself to Australia, and then from there, watch the games on there. And also, we have got there, can you do a show on the refs? Says Joe Webby. I think I would get a lot of hate if I was to do that. But we'll probably talk about the refs a little bit in the post-match review, which is happening in only the 3 minutes' time. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Like I mentioned, if you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.